Hello, listeners. Welcome to episode 117 of the Avocado Games Cast, the only gaming podcast whose hosts haven't been canceled yet. Welcome to 2026. It's time for our annual look ahead at what's to come in the year. We'll be talking all about our predictions and most anticipated games of 2026. But first, let us introduce ourselves. I'm Merve, and I'm here with the Kappa. How are you doing, Kappa?
Hey, good. 1 year down, 3 to go, right? Is it
Three
the
to
way to
go.
look at it? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You can read into that how you want.
Yeah,
Video game releases or
speaking of things reading into, there's been a lot of terrible weather
Yep.
uh this past weekend, and there's been snow and cold weather and like freezing rain that has turned into ice, thick layers of ice, and nobody likes the ice. We all like to say fuck ice. Um yeah. So enough about the weather. Video games. How's that been going for you? What did you play over the
Eh,
holidays?
it's been a weird holiday, because actually my family, for some reason, mostly Stranger Things, honestly, they were like, "Hey, let's get into Dungeons and Dragons." So I went out. And my family has always been kind of like borderline. My kids are both like super hardcore gamers, honestly, like more like Minecraft and Fortnite than anything else. But my wife was like, this looks kind of cool. Like, can you explain what it is? So I kind of like gave her an O down. I played in college, like here and there. Actually, I was a member of a extremely nerdy fraternity. Whenever people talk about fraternities, they're like, "Yeah, these." I'm like, "No, that was not my experience. We played a lot of World of Warcraft. But I think that kind of helped. So we played some D&D before, and I was like, "Okay, let's give it a shot." And I've been playing with an avocado group lately too, so that's kind of given me a little bit of an idea of what to put together. So we went out and we bought the new starter set, which I think has like mixed reviews in the D&D community, which I am kind of not a part of, but I think the mixed reviews are basically like, this is good for starting out. This is bad for everybody else. Well, guess what? I'm starting out, so it was amazing. It was like basically the perfect purchase. It's called the Heroes of the Borderlands set. And at first, my kids were like, "Borderlands? I don't want to play Borderlands. The game sucks." But so it's like,
It's great
yeah,
guy.
man. After my raising my kids right. But now as I can explain, I was like totally different. It has nothing to do with that. They were cool with it. So we got started. The starter set is like basically perfectly designed. It's more like graphical than I think a lot of like theater of the mind type D&D. So there's like lots of maps and booklets and handouts and stuff like that. And, having DM'd like very, very little, I kind of knew what I was going to do with it. But it ended up kind of me being like following most of the rules together, and then like adding a couple things like. My kid listens to the podcast every now and then, so surprise, Wes. He just decided to kind of like murder hobo a specific NPC for no reason. So I basically like had her become a powerful necromancer, and she put her like hatred into the thing that he stole from her, and now like her ghost pops up every couple minutes and attacks the whole party. And it's kind of like a funny, like all you had to do was not steal from me. What I mean? Like kind of as like a reminder that he didn't have to do that. So like little things like that, and it's been perfect because of all the power outages and weather and stuff. Just all of us kind of getting together. Like the most like my kids come home from school, they're like, "When are we playing D&D?" I'm like, "Yo, give me a couple minutes. Like I need to like, it's not exactly like something I can set up in 5 minutes. Like I'm not that level of experience. But it's been really cool. Like the family is super into it right now. So even my wife, who she's gamed before, she's played Destiny with me a lot, but this has been kind of like something where she feels like she um kind of like contributes a little bit more than in video games where like the kids are so good and I'm so good. Like she always kind of feels like she's getting dragged along, but in this, especially because she's a rogue, she's super useful in a lot of situations. So
Yeah,
she's
it's more
having a blast.
participatory.
Yeah, exactly. Exchange students loving it. She's the part that she's most into is she's very artistic, so she's into painting the minis. So we'll go out and like everybody will pick their mini and then everybody gives them to her and she paints them up really cool and stuff. So everybody's kind of like found a little niche for this. So it's been kind of a weird thing, like kind of since Christmas we've just been doing that. Well, when was the last episode of Stranger Things? Christmas or New Year's? It might have been New Year's, but since then basically we've been playing pretty much nonstop. And I have a feeling we're not alone because every time I go to like look up buying stuff for D&D, it's like completely sold out like over and over and over again. So I know there's been some like controversy with Wizards of the Coast. I haven't exactly kept up with it. It doesn't seem like it's, terrible stuff, I guess, as far as like, toxic culture and blah blah blah. It just seems kind of like there's like some gougy stuff going on and people having to rebuy stuff, but and rights holders and things like that. But from my experience, at least, I've been able to find lots of very easy third party modules still. Which I think was one of the complaints was like, oh, they're going to get rid of this. Like, no, I've had really
Yeah.
no problem finding any of them. There's been a couple humble bundles as well that have a bunch of D&D stuff in them. So, at least in my experience so far, I've been able to kind of like very much grab what I want to grab for like third party stuff. So it doesn't seem like they've at least stomped that out of existence yet. Um, there's a local game store I've been going to, so it's kind of like a weird like I've never been much of a tabletop person, mostly because like I feel like the buy-in cost for it is very expensive, and if you don't have like a regular group, it can be kind of like difficult to like justify a lot of that. But now that I've got basically four built-in players, like it's a lot easier for me to justify. So, having a blast doing that.
Yeah, it's super neat that you've been able to kind of set this up. Um, because that's the main thing that's preventing me from going more into like the tabletop scene.
Yeah,
I don't really have a regular group of people who would be willing to play that.
sure,
Like
and
most of my friends have like young kids, so it becomes a little difficult.
absolutely, yeah. And what I'm learning from the online D&D group, that we're running, it's great. It's amazing. I'm having an absolute blast. But it's like kind of almost like a different skill to be able to do that like in person versus being able to do that online, right? Because you're
Yeah.
having to be a lot more descriptive. You're having to rely a lot on like the technical tools that you have. Like we play on Roll 20, but we have our characters made on D&D. So there's this like app like I guess like a browser extension that like communicates between the two. So there's a lot of like technical things to like make it all work like it does in real life, but in real life it's so much easier. Like there's no way I could be doing what the clever guy does for our group online because he's running a extremely complicated campaign, doing an awesome job with it, and he's also like very like good with like the technical ends of it. Whereas me, I'm like I struggle just to like figure out like how to move my character in our game sometimes, but, like, in person, it's so much more, like, right in front of you, like, "Oh, I move like, physically move this thing on the table." It makes it so much easier. So, I mean, it makes sense that, like, I know people wanna play, so that's why there's an online, you know, need for it, but, like, when you're actually playing it in person, the game really kinda has a chance to come, like, way more alive, I think.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I missed about having a regular tabletop group.
Mhm.
For me, it was more board games than it was like role playing games.
Yeah.
But that's something I've deeply missed since like leaving New York, where I had like that whole group of people that I'd meet every other week to just play board games with. And
Yeah.
now
'Cause
here,
before we had
sorry,
kids,
go ahead.
that was me and my wife's experience too before we had kids, like, it would just be like, "Hey, let's" there was a pretty cool comic store that also, like, near me that also sold, like, board games, right? So we'd go out and we'd buy, like, it was like Lost Desert, I think was one of them, or, like, like, little, like, games that we could play, in an afternoon or an evening, just kinda like, um, I think it was Forbidden Desert, Forbidden Island, one of those. It was like a bunch of, like, tiles that you flip over and, like,
Urban Island, I think.
Yes, that was really fun. So, like, little games like that where it's more cooperative stuff rather than, like, against each other. Because like, it's when it's just you and your wife, it's not fun to, like, beat them in Monopoly, It's kinda like, "Oh, boy, thanks." But, like yeah, so those kinda like cooperative games, and so sh we had a lot of experience with that, but, she'd never played D&D. I'd played it a couple times in college. We had, like, a semi-regular thing, but it was since, like, it was college and, like, "Oh, I gotta study," like, there was a lot of, like, drop in, drop out. There was a special name for it. I can't remember exactly what it was called. But it was a special type of D&D where like there's like 20 characters and like whoever can make it that day basically like plays that day.
I think
So
it's West Marches style
there you
campaign.
go. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So like I didn't know anything about that, but the basic idea was like, okay, well, everybody's got a table, you drop in, drop out, whenever's convenient for you. But like the two fraternity brothers who DM. Like, they just would basically kinda, like, keep a running list of, like, who did what, and they'd be like, "Hey, man, like, if you can't make it tonight, we definitely need, like, a couple wizards or something," so but that was my experience, but then, like, here, it's like I feel like I can tailor this stuff because the starter pack is so streamlined, it's so easy to like work with. I feel like I can really like tailor a lot of stuff to what is going on with my party, my kids, what are they kind of like feeling or doing and like change the campaign up enough to just not make it so frustrating for them. We've had a couple very close calls. And I mean, I've been reading a lot about like, DM, do you fudge the dice? I just roll it right on the table, you know? So there's definitely been some like frustrations. My kid actually, he got some money for Christmas. He actually went out and bought some new dice because he thought like he had bad luck dice. He's, he's just like, I could not roll for shit. It was the funniest thing. Like, so he plays a warlock, and I think he spent an
Just get
entire
nat
night
ones all
yeah,
over the
like
place. Oh
everything, and
no.
like we were fighting like intro level stuff, right? You know what I mean? So like doing that like a gray ooze and things like that, and he's rolling like threes and fours the entire night, you know. So he's like, I'm gonna go buy some new dice, and his new dice, to his kind of credit, they've been pretty good. He's definitely landing a lot more. And like my wife, we were doing kind of like an RP heavy session in the keep, trying to sort out who is and isn't with the cult. I did like one of those like conspiracy boards with like red yarn, like on
Like
like
Pepe
a
Sylvia.
yeah, exactly. I did one of those on like a cork board, and I was like, okay, who do you think is in the cult? So they were all trying to like figure out who is and wasn't in the cult. But my wife kept trying to like she's a rogue, so she kept trying to like deceive everybody like nonstop and like rolling like ones, and like everybody's like, You're too honest. Like you got to figure out you got to teach your character how to lie."
Uh, that's one of the things I love about the fail forward design of D&D is
Yeah.
you just kind of have to roll with,
Yep.
like, no pun intended, like, with any kind of, like, bad event that happens. And,
Eh,
like, yeah, sometimes that does mean character death, and then you have to roll a new character. But, like, especially when people fail skill checks and, like, RP stuff, like,
Yes.
not in combat, it's the opportunity for the DM to do the funniest shit.
Yeah.
Um,
Like you've got like this super smooth like bard walking in there trying to do like this charismatic performance, and it's like they roll a four, and I'm like, you come out on stage and you drop your instruments and everybody's looking at you and people start throwing tomatoes. Like you can kind of really lean into it sometimes when they fail. That almost makes it as fun as when they succeed. Or like she kept failing deception, and then the exchange student we have, who's a wizard, like has like I think like -1 to charisma or something. And then like she rolls like a nat 20. It's like, okay, like you pick up the flute that was dropped and you start playing it masterfully, and it's a virtuoso performance, like stuff like that. It just makes it more fun for everybody to kind of have their moment, I guess.
yeah. Really glad you're enjoying that.
Yeah.
For me over the holidays, it was not tabletop. I was in video game land. I was playing this new game called Big Hops. It just came out a couple of weeks ago.
This is a Switch game, right?
Yeah, it's on
Okay.
Switch. It's also on PC, but I'm playing it on Switch too, just so I can play it in bed.
Hmm.
Um, because it is that kind of more like that kind of cozier experience that you want to have. Like lying in bed instead of like sitting in front of the computer for hours on end. Um, so yeah, it's an indie 3D platformer. You play as a cute frog named Hop. And there's been kind of this indie 3D platformer explosion over the past 7, 8 years, I would say.
Hmm.
So you go back to games like Ukulele and A Hat in Time that both came out in 2017. And since then, there have been things like more retro styled ones like Lunistis and I think this one called Super Kiwi 64.
Hmm.
Um,
When did
and,
Celeste come out? I think that was also like one of those like big movers in that space. It might have been a while
oh,
ago though.
which one, sorry?
Celeste.
Oh, Celeste. Celeste, I forget what it came out, but that's 2D, though they did come up with Celeste 64, which was the 3 or Celeste 3D. I forget what it was called that came out last year.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was thinking of. I know they did like I don't know if it's a reboot or just the same thing, but just 3D.
I think it's just kind of like a 3D spin-off.
Gotcha.
And they're doing a 3D spin-off with Super Meat Boy this year.
Oh
Um,
boy.
yeah, we're gonna see how much frustration that one causes. Um, so like There has been this explosion of these games, and a lot of them are styled more in the rare 3D collectathon vein. Some like Lunistis are more like retro Sonic games. Then some take more after Crash Bandicoot, and some try to take a little bit more after Mario.
Mm,
And Big Hops, I would say, is more in the Mario vein. It's not like very, very heavily collectathon-y. Um, and movement's pretty traditional. It's run, jump, roll. You can crouch jump to high jump. You can long jump. There are a few innovations. It just like takes the stamina meter when you climb straight from Breath of the Wild.
uh-huh.
And there are lots of more like modern movement tech, no double jumps, no spin jumps, etc. Like any of the things you might see in like say Psychonauts or the recent Donkey Kong game, not going to find here.
Okay.
Um, so pretty traditional in that regard. Uh, but where it tries to innovate, and here's where things are a little bit mixed. Um, so a lot of 3D platformers nowadays, rather than just being these games where you're like passively making it through a platforming gauntlet or passively, I shouldn't say passively, it's just like defeating whatever enemies are there.
Mhm.
They've tried to incorporate some of that Breath of the Wild energy, right? Not just in the stamina, but also like in manipulating your environment. So in this game, there are what are called veggies that grow on trees. All the veggies grow on trees.
Mightn't that be a fruit?
Uh, I mean, like,
I don't know. I don't know. I'm just saying.
uh, I mean, how pedantic do you want to get about botany?
I had this conversation. Let me bring this up. I had this conversation on the avocado the other day where I was like, I realized like I don't like any vegetables. Like whenever like somebody's like, oh, that's a legume or that's a fruit or whatever. Like I don't know that I like or a tuber. You know what I mean? Like I don't know if like I like any true vegetables. So that was a realization I had. So
So your true vegetables would be stuff like the stalks and leaves. Like, do you hate lettuce?
like it's filler. You know what I mean? Like I would never be
Okay.
like, oh, lettuce. You know, like I do sometimes like get excited about like a really juicy tomato, which is not a vegetable. You know, um,
Yeah, it's not a botanical vegetable. It is a
right.
culinary
That's
vegetable.
what I
But
mean.
like,
Yeah, yeah. If you're talking botanical, like the list of vegetables is actually kind of like
it's pretty
trashy or
small,
something.
right?
Yeah.
Because like cucumbers, peppers, those are fruits,
Yep.
if according to the botanical definition. Um, So yeah, you pick the veggies off the trees. You pick them up and you throw them to manipulate the environment. And different veggies do different things. So chili peppers will burn things. Mushrooms create bounce pads. Acorns create beanstalks you can climb, etc. Um, and so you
Kind of a
have this kind of
buoyanous blobbish.
maybe I don't know. I've never
Okay.
played a boy as blob.
Oh, okay.
Um, But I would liken it kind of like to Bonanza last year, where you like add stuff to the environment to manipulate it, or like this is again kind of lifted from Breath of the Wild. Um, Problem is that like this is really really finicky. Like it's an
Mm,
interesting gameplay idea in principle, but when you've got these environments that aren't set up to be like like super rectilinear, so like everything at right angles, um, setting, say, a tightrope that comes out at exactly the angle you need it is really, really difficult, nearly impossible. And so you end up like trying and failing 15 times to set up the environment exactly how you need it.
yeah.
Um, and that ends up being really, really frustrating.
See,
Um,
I think one of like maybe like design things with a lot of the modern platformer is like by giving you more jumping abilities, more jumping skills, more angles to jump at, you don't need as tightly tuned of a stage. Do you know what I mean? Like if somebody can like double, triple hop out of a a valley or
yeah.
something rather than just make super precise single jump timing things, you don't need to be as like precise with the stage, I guess, if you've got some of that already built in.
No, that is a really good observation because that exactly gets to the problem here, which is that the layout suggests not having to be super precise because of
Mhm.
the way they've set everything up at odd angles. Sometimes you have these big flat areas that are almost open worldish, so it's set up for a little bit of looseness, and the controls are a little loose. but they demand a level of precision that the controls can't really match, and
Mhm.
that the environmental manipulation definitely can't match. So there's a lot of trial and error that really takes away from like that zen flow state that you kind of want in some of these platformers where you're like going super quickly and you're sight reading the levels and you're able um, to respond to any new thing you see. But the levels almost seem set up that way. Like the levels design will suggest a continuous path that you can go through really quickly. It's just that you need to be so precise on the sticks and so precise with your timing
Yeah.
to execute that. Um, it's not like the game is ultra difficult. It's not like it's like constantly killing you. It's more like um, you see that you're not going to be able to make the jump, and then you abort or you fail. But the consequences are just that you fall into a pit and you kind of climb your way back up and
Climb it
try
back
again.
out, yeah. In a
Yeah,
way, I might be alone here. In a way, I find that more annoying than just dying and restarting. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm like, "Oh, shit, I didn't make this jump, now I've gotta go, like, all the way, climb my way all the way back out of this, like, you know, pit using exact, very specific jumps." I'd rather just die and just let me restart and try it over again, you know?
yeah. There are times I've definitely like when there are these like you fall into say a gigantic pit, you have to set up a contraption that'll allow you to kind of get back out of the pit. Um, and there are, to be fair, there are like checkpoints where you like press a switch and then it unlocks bounce pads that bounce you up to midway through the climb. But still, there's so many times where I messed up a jump like right before a checkpoint, and I had to go through so much to get
Yeah.
back to it. Um, those times can be really frustrating, and I understand having consequences for failure. You don't want to make this like a really like Weenie Hut Junior kind of game. You want it to be you want some level of challenge. It's just that I feel like in a lot of cases my failures are for things I could not have anticipated.
Okay.
Like there's no way I have 3 or 4 options for how I could approach a certain thing and only one of them will work, but there's no visual cue that tells me which one will work. So I try like I might try like high jump high jump, dive, and then wall run to get to a place. And that might not work, but my other option might be roll jump and let myself fall, then dive into the wall run, and that'll get me to where I need to go. But I can't know in advance which one of these will work.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so
And you're the penalty for missing is to have to do it all over again, basically, right?
yeah, and not helping matters is that in cases where I need to set up things like tight ropes or like points or something like that, setting them up is really difficult. So I'm often
Oh, yeah.
like, because the way you set them up is you throw the vegetable at a surface that you want that you want the feature to come out of. But if that surface is angled a little weirdly, then or if it's distant and you have to account for the arc of your throw, you're going to be trying this like 4 or 5 times before
Oh,
you
that's
actually get it working.
let me ask you,
Uh,
like, a real, like, weirdly specific to me thing, okay? When you fail in the game, does the music start over?
um, it keeps going because
Okay.
generally what happens when like let's say you hit a death plane, you
Mhm.
just respawn from where you left off. So the music doesn't
Okay.
stop, I believe. It just keeps going.
'Cause,
It's like an
weirdly,
instant restart.
a lot of times I found myself frustrated with that. Like, it'll sometimes be like kinda like you're saying, like, where you're getting into that state, like, you're enjoying it, like, the music's kinda going along, you're having fun, then you die, and then, like, sometimes when the music starts over, I get, like, annoyed. Like, it's a very weird thing, but, like, okay, like, "Oh, and I gotta get back to that part in the song," or whatever, like, I don't know what it is. I just noticed this about myself when I was playing. I might have been not actually like a true pro. It might have been like Hades or something, but like I was playing something lately where I was like, "Oh my god, just let me hear the rest of the song, and then I'll eventually make this jump." And but I was kind of enjoying where that song was going. Super minor, but like something I noticed.
Yeah, like anything that really calls attention to the failure and doesn't just let you get right
Yeah,
back to it,
that's a good
that
point. Yeah.
that can really impact your enjoyment of these games. With big hops, there are game over screens, like if you lose all your health, and then yeah, that restarts. So I'm fine with that consequence existing.
Hmm.
But for the most part, if you hit a death plane, then you just like restart exactly where you left off.
Okay.
It's not like super punishing because it is at the end of the day a family game. Although I think like any kid younger than 10 is gonna not be able to execute on like the skill level required for this. But it's not intended to be super frustrating. It just has some frustrating elements that I wish were
Yeah, especially
executed a little better.
especially if like it's your like chill out before bed. You know what I mean? Like on the couch type game. That's a different feeling than like I want to pound out speed run levels on this game.
Yeah, I feel like the few times I've played it like during lunch on the weekend, that's when I've been like that I've gotten like really into a groove and played for like 3 hours straight. Um, but yeah, most of the time I just wanna knock out like half a stage for 20 minutes before going to sleep. So maybe that's my problem for approaching the game the wrong way, and I really should just uh
Nah, I mean, yeah, I get what you mean. 'Cause like I've talked before, like I'm like this is like a couch game. This is like a chilling out in bed game. This is like a sitting all the way up at my PC game. And I think 99% of platformers for me need to be in that chill out mode. It's very rare that I want to be like challenged by you know like a platformer.
Yeah, like if I'm looking for that, I'm looking for it specifically. Like I am
Yeah,
looking
yeah.
to get my ass kicked. Here, I just kind of want to chill with my cute frog buddy, you know. Um,
I'm
by the
looking
way,
at the Big Hops. He doesn't have the feeling of like a hardcore adventure going on.
oh, he is not like the movement. The movement's really neat. I'm
Cool.
glad. Like it's deceptively like he's deceptively cute. Um, but oh, one of the costumes you can get is like a little cat hat that goes on his frog head, and it's the cutest thing in the world. I'll get a screenshot of it for the link dump. Anyway, so that is Big Hops. It's really charming. I'm enjoying it. It's probably not going to make me around top 10 given the problems it has, but I can't say that I'm having a terrible time with it or anything. So definitely check it out.
Yeah, after last year's packed like 10, I've been thinking more and more about like this is gonna be a hard year to live up, at least from what I've seen so far announced.
Yeah, which we're going to get into in a little bit. But before we get to what we're anticipating, it's time to jump back into the time vault and review what we predicted that
Oh,
would happen in 2025. Um, I'm just gonna say right off the bat, we were really bad at predicting 2025.
yeah. We
So,
were
but you're
good
gonna have
two
a good
years ago,
laugh
I
at this.
think. Yeah.
We were better before. I think this is
Yeah.
our worst year for predictions. Um, but let's just get into it. So we made each two realistic predictions and one long shot. Um, So I'm going to go through our first round of realistic predictions, then our second round of realistic predictions, and then our long shots. And this episode last year we did with Lily Bones and Quinley Thorne, so we're going to talk about their predictions as well. My first realistic prediction was that Ubisoft will either be sold or go private in 2025,
Oh, if only you could have waited
which
like a couple more months.
I think I was on the right track, but that's just false. That didn't
Yeah.
happen last year. There are rumors throughout both 2025, but in the end, what happened in 2025 was Ubisoft just restructured, and Tencent bought a large stake in one of the new subsidiaries. But Ubisoft did not actually like dissolve or sell itself or go private or anything like that. There were further restructurings that happened just like in the past week, alongside the cancellation of the Sands of Time remake,
Yeah,
which
that
is
was
just like
yeah.
bizarre.
And also I think I read that Watch Dogs is well and truly dead at this point as well was another thing to come out of that.
Yeah, so Tom Henderson of Insider Gaming initially reported that, but then leaker Shinobi 602 said that's not exactly the case, which makes me think that that Watch Dogs as a, like an independent franchise might be dead, but maybe there'll
Yeah.
be Watch Dogs stuff like in future Tom Clancy games. I don't know exactly what they're gonna do with it.
Or some kind of mobile thing or something too, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, but it sounds to me at least in terms of like, mainline, triple what is it, quadruple A at this point
yeah.
releases, it might not be coming out there. So
There will not be a Watch Dogs
yeah.
4, most likely. Um, So yeah, again, Ubisoft has not gone private, not sold itself yet. Um, we'll see what happens. I don't know who's going to want to buy Ubisoft in this current state when it's just falling apart, and employee morale is at such a low. It's also a company with just a lot of worldwide assets, and that means a lot of countries are involved in like scrutinizing a deal. It's just not worth like that juice is just not worth the legal squeeze.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going to happen to Ubisoft, if there even is going to be an Ubisoft, if the Guillemots will finally cut bait. Uh, but it does not seem like Ubisoft is in a good state. Still, prediction was false. Um, Lily Bones' first realistic prediction. Microsoft will publish more games on each of PS5 and Switch 2 than Sony will publish on PS5 and Nintendo will publish on Switch 2. And this is half true, half false. Let's start with the true bit. It was true for Sony. Microsoft published more games on PS5 in 2025 than Sony published on PS5. But Microsoft published only one game on the Switch 2 ecosystem, whereas Nintendo's published six on Switch 2.
Yeah,
So
I wonder how much of that is Switch 2 still kind of being in that, like, not quite powerful enough that people are gonna wanna readily port things over to it, you know what I mean? Without trying to, like, be able to just kinda, like, do a one-to-one like they are on some of the other systems.
yeah, so it's not going to be like a one to one from an Xbox Series console,
Right,
but like from an Xbox One, they can probably get it running pretty well. So it depends it depends on the level of fidelity, and yeah, obviously there'll be compromises. It's a handheld system. It's about the same level of power you're getting from a Steam Deck. So yeah, it's not going to look like it does on an Xbox or PS5.
right.
So that depends. Also, I think a lot of it was Nintendo being weird with dev kits and being overly restrictive with them. It seemed
Which
like
is, like, the 3rd generation they've done that to, right? Like, isn't this,
see,
like,
they
a
weren't super
ongoing thing?
restrictive with Switch One dev kits. It was
Yeah,
like
they it's
with
just ever since the Wii U, I think, was like after the I think they thought they had something so hot with Wii that they didn't wanna do it with Wii U. I remember that kind of being like a thing around that time frame.
yeah, I don't remember what the dev kit situation was with Wii U because they got a lot of third party support like out the gate
At the
for Wii
gate,
U,
yeah.
and then it just died because no one bought Wii U's.
Mhm.
With Switch, they just kind of had that third-party support accumulate over time to the point that people were making these really compromised cloud versions of games.
Right.
And now that the Switch 2 is powerful enough to run them natively, you would think that they'd be wanting to take advantage of all those third-party partnerships, but they were weirdly restrictive with dev kits from the get-go. Um, so now it seems like the dev kit situation is stabilized, but who knows what'll happen next year? And we'll get to that in a little bit. Kappa, your first realistic prediction. Sony will begin licensing their IPs, including their biggest ones like God of War and Uncharted, to third party developers. That did not materialize in 2025. Maybe this
Mm.
year, who
Yeah,
knows?
I know, it's coulda waited.
But yeah, it didn't happen. There's going to be a God of War TV series, I think, this year.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as video games go, Sony's keeping their biggest IPs in house or just kind of leaving them like
Alone, yeah,
alone. Yeah,
that's the weirder thing to me. Is like, I thought with the kind of like The Last of Us success, that maybe it would kind of spur like, okay, well, we're not going to get another Last of Us out when let's strike while the iron's hot, get something out there. But no, it's kind of just instead just he didn't release a lot instead. So I guess we'll
I,
see.
do you ever think Sony regrets killing the Uncharted live service game?
Yes, 100%. I think they regret not being
Sorry, not
able to
Uncharted,
follow
Last of Us live
Last of
service
Us.
game.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I think they regret not sticking with Last of Us as a series because it does seem like people want more of it. But I think the more of it that they've been giving has been kind of mediocre.
It's just been
So I mean,
repackagings, right?
remakes, yeah, it's remake after remake after remake, and at some point, like I don't know that. I've bought Final Fantasy Tactics like 8 times. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, but like I feel like there's enough in it for me to keep buying Final Fantasy Tactics, right? I don't necessarily feel that I get that same thing out of something like a Last of Us where it's like we didn't change anything, we just made the graphics 8% better, right? So
They did do
I
that like chronological rearrangement of the plot of Last of Us Part 2. Um,
I don't know.
okay, I guess.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know
kind of where
who
I
that's
walked away.
for.
Like, it's not going to make me replay just because I played it and I can put it in my mind in chronological order. I guess it would make sense if you just really wanted to experience the story straightforward, but yeah, very odd.
I mean, I think the whole point of how that story is told is that you think one thing the entire first
Yeah,
half of the game, and then it hits you in the face. If you rearrange in chronological order, you're kind of taking away that impact.
yep.
At least that's my understanding. I haven't played the game.
It's a
Um,
very like Walking Dead thing where like, or zombie fiction, I guess in general, where it's like a lot of the drama depends on you not knowing if someone is or isn't okay, and which can be fun, but at the same time, it's like, okay, well, at some point, you got to kind of start being honest, I guess, with people.
Quinley Thorne's first realistic prediction. Atlas will announce an expanded re-release from Metaphor ReFantasio that will add Katharina as a party member, make Glodell a social link, and add more candidates for the throne, one of whom will be a Mary Sue pseudo-love interest that will play an outsized role in the plot. I think Quinley Thorne was just being really resentful of Personas
Maybe more
3, 4, and
wishful than,
5,
yeah.
and how they just re-release expanded editions with a bunch of wish fulfillment bullshit. This didn't happen. This is completely false. Um, so, sorry, Quinley. I guess good for you, Quinley, because I don't think you wanted this to happen. I don't think anyone wanted this to happen, and it didn't happen. So, yay. By the way, I still haven't finished Metaphor. I'm still like only maybe 60% of the way through. I got busy with other things. I just didn't go back to it. I'm gonna finish it this year. Uh,
I am kind of shocked at how long that game is. Not for you, I mean, just in general. It looks like you're far from alone there.
it is probably, but the thing is, I've just been going through it so slowly. Like, I beat Xenoblade Chronicles 3 the year it came out, and I sunk, I think, 210 hours into it. Um, don't calculate how many days that is. It's not good. I spent more than 8 straight days playing that game. Um, it's it's just that it's paced in such a way that you can't really play it in tiny chunks.
Yeah,
So you just have to sit down for like hour-long play sessions to get through it. And it's fun, but I'm starting to see a lot of the problems that Drinking with Skeletons noted at the end of at our 2024 year-end podcast.
hmm,
Um, a lot of the pacing issues have started to rear their ugly head. And it's no longer really viable to do a lot of the things that save your MP or mana. Um, so it's just going to be a lot of like grinding,
man.
and I might just like knock the difficulty down to easy. It'll be way too easy when I do. It's just at a certain point I just want to get through the game. It's what I ended up doing with Soul Hackers 2. But there the combat wasn't actually fun, so um I didn't really mind doing that as much, whereas here I'm enjoying the combat. So I don't really want to knock it down to easy. I just
I
might
gotcha.
be
Yeah,
obligated
I
to.
mean, I think that makes sense. I think there's like easy. There's like different types of easy. You know what I mean? Where it's like I don't necessarily enjoy everything, but I don't need to be challenged at sometimes. I do like in RPGs. I think I like in RPGs where you kind of hit that delta where you kind of like push it over the top and like now, okay, yes, I am overpowered for 90% of the fights, and I actually enjoy that. Like when you get to that.
Yeah, this is something I've hit in Digimon Story, which I still haven't finished. The latest game of the series, Time Stranger, where like I'm super OP for most like trash mob battles, and it's just boss battles that end up being
Hmm.
these gigantic, really epic wars of attrition. That is kind of how Time Stranger is set up. It's set up so that like trash mobs are basically meaningless,
Uh huh.
and it's I'm of two minds on this. Like it is more efficient game for that, but it also means like I don't have to think very hard about
Gotcha.
what I'm
Yeah.
doing when I'm dungeon crawling, and it ends up being a little mindless, unfortunately. Um, anyway, metaphor. I'm still enjoying it, but uh, starting to see the cracks, and I
Interesting.
have no idea whether I'll finish it this year.
We've talked a lot about this though. Like, there's sometimes it does feel like you're getting your review for the first half of, or maybe like first 20 minutes or first whatever of a game, and a lot of reviewers just don't have time to kind of like grind it out and experience the final systems that maybe you will with the game.
I think it's more that they do beat the game. It's just that like when you're going through it so quickly, a lot of your impressions from the first half will linger when you're writing up your review. Like you might be
Mhm.
writing up your review as you're finishing the game, and then maybe tweaking it a little based on the ending, just because the turnaround times on these things are so tight.
Yeah.
Like reviewers are basically doing nothing but playing these big RPGs for like 3 weeks straight as they struggle to finish the reviews on time. So I understand why they tend to reflect maybe the more positive initial impressions of things. Um, but at the same time, like it does mean that sometimes when these games do wear out, especially when you play them over these long periods of time, it's not something that really gets reflected in media discourse because it's
Gotcha. Yeah.
so like to the moment, it's so up to date and current. You don't really there's like no space. There's no way to earn money from talking about a game that came out a year and a half ago.
Mm.
Um, and I wish there were. Like, that's part of why I listen to podcasts, but the podcasts also only really talk about the current stuff. And sometimes I just want them to be like, I don't know, man, talk about Vampire or Immortals of Avium or Mass Effect Andromeda or something that came out a while ago. I want to hear your take on it in the present day.
Yeah.
And it's not something I get to hear very often. Anyway, let's move on to my second realistic prediction. Persona 6 will be announced at Summer Game Fest for a 2026 release. That didn't happen. Persona
Yeah.
6 still officially unannounced.
Even though like
And
everybody knows it's still there, right?
yeah,
It
everyone knows it's happening, but we know
yeah.
nothing about it officially. And Atlas hasn't officially said, like, literally Persona 6 is happening, just like Persona stuff is happening. There's a new
Yeah.
game, maybe. But no one's like gone out and revealed Persona 6. And at this
And with the
point,
Persona series, it always could just be like, yeah, we're not doing a 6, we're doing a, alternate view of what happened if somebody, sat on a orange 4 years ago, or you know what I mean? Like, they do like to kinda do like that alternate history type stuff.
not so much alternate history. That's more mainline
Yeah,
SMP.
I'm not
Persona's
opposed
more
to.
like spin-offs.
Yeah,
They
the
do a
spin-offs is
lot
what
of
I should have called
those.
it, yeah.
And they're generally canonical spin-offs, which makes it all the weirder. Like technically there's like 4 sequels to Persona 5, but they're all in different genres, right? There's like a tactics game, a Muso game, there's a rhythm game, there's a mobile spin-off that's essentially a free-to-play Persona 5 with different characters, including like a woman in her 40s who used to be like a garu when she was a kid. It's all very stupid. I've played one of the spin-offs, the Muso game. It was pretty good, but I don't want to be sitting there playing these all the time. Like
Yeah,
I've
you
moved
want the main
on.
line.
I I've had enough of these characters. They're good characters, but I don't need more of these characters. I want a new persona with new characters in a new school with new school uniforms and, more questionable teen romances. Um, that's what I'm looking for. Lily Bones' second realistic prediction, both Marathon and Grand Theft Auto 6 will get delayed out of 2025. That was true. Both of them
Yep,
got delayed to 2026. Marathon's set to come out in March or
March,
May?
yeah.
March. Okay. Yeah, we'll see how that one goes.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you pre-ordered it, like, there was some kind of controversy where if you pre-ordered it, they were, like, installing Destiny, like, automatically on your, I wanna say it was PS5 or something. I don't know, I just heard about it. I don't know if it actually was happening, but one of my friends who's a Destiny player said he pre-ordered Marathon, and then they re-downloaded Destiny for some reason on his, PlayStation. So people were saying that was kinda one of those things that was happening.
Oh,
Bungie's not in
is
a good spot.
Is that like when people who had Prey 2006 in their libraries also bought Prey 2017 on
I
Steam,
it
and then
it could be very close to that, yeah.
yeah, it was downloading Prey. Like they couldn't re-download Prey 2006 anymore. Uh,
I don't know. I mean, it might just be something my friend was telling, but he was like, "Yeah, man,
yeah,
I don't know what happened. I pre-ordered
I heard that
Marathon."
this was happening.
Oh,
Yeah,
really? Okay.
yeah, it got reported on in the news.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, this is man, this game just can't catch a break.
No, and like what's weird is Arc Raiders is like already at this absolute peak of where Arc Raiders is going to be, and it's only like it might be maybe starting to go down a little bit by March, but that is a hell of a gamble to try to make.
Yeah, they're not gonna. I don't think they're gonna dislodge Arc Raiders.
No,
Um, I Arc Raiders is way too popular. Has taken the streaming world by storm. I don't know that there's room for Marathon in this environment. We have the more hardcore extraction shooters. You have your Tarkovs that people already play religiously, and then Arc Raiders has just captured the more casual side of the
yep.
extraction shooter. And for old heads, there's the Division and the Division Two.
Division, yeah, and the Division also is in a space where well, they will maybe just add Destiny combat around, Marathon. Well, yeah, that's called the Division, right? There's a whole PvE part of the Division where if you can go into the extraction shooter if you want, but that already exists. That's the Division, so. Um, I don't know. I can't be more pessimistic about a game if I try than Marathon. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
I I mean, I wish the rank and file like Bungie employees who are trying to make this game come out in a good state. I wish them well.
Mhm.
I guess everyone except the art team. Fuck the
Yeah,
art team.
yeah.
But like everyone else, I hope they. I don't want that studio to go
No, me
away
either.
because
Yeah.
there is a lot of talent there, and even if Destiny wasn't for me, I still want these. I still want people to be able to make large scale live service games. I don't think that this is like a dead end for the medium. I think there's a lot of like really bad commercial bullshit that can be associated with these kinds of games, but I am not willing to throw away that part of the medium.
Yeah,
And
when
Bungie is one of the few studios that can like develop in that part of the
that's exactly
medium.
what I said. When they're the only one who's really made it work, it would be a shame if the lesson from Bungie is not that, like, if you really commit to a game 100%, your whole studio is behind it, to the point where you're absolutely like supporting it after launch and stuff, you can make live service work. And said if the lesson as well, eventually you're going to make an anthem or not an anthem, but an anthem or a marathon or something like that. And
Yeah.
it's going to cost more money than it's going to be worth.
Uh, a lesson that everyone should learn from Destiny's choose like current failures is not like don't make a live service game. It should be don't raid your company's coffers to
Yeah.
buy a bunch of classic cars. Like,
And then split your studio and hope that it just kind of all works out, right? Bioware magic again, right? Like we'll figure it out. We'll just put the wings on the plane as it's in flight or whatever that businessy saying always is.
yeah, like build the rails in front of the train as it's rolling.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
that seems like what they're doing, but again, we don't know. Maybe it'll come out and be fantastic. I would love. Here's the thing: I almost kind of don't want for it to be a hit because I don't want a game made under these circumstances with this level of plagiarism to become a hit,
Yeah.
but I also don't want the studio to fail.
Well, weirdly,
So
there's a lot of Destiny players who also don't want this game to be a hit. It's like one of the more complicated things where it's like, if this game fails, do they go back to Destiny or is the studio done? Right. So a lot of Destiny players are like trying to figure out, like, if Marathon flops, which I mean, I'm almost certain it's gonna, right? Does that mean, okay, well, we still have the old war chest. Let's get back into like making Destiny the best it could be. Or does it mean, okay, we're just going to get absorbed into Sony and Bungie is no more?
it's hard to know
Yeah.
because like Sony has shown a lot less patience with Bungie than I thought they
Oh
would.
yeah, yeah, me too. I
Um,
completely agree. I mean, when Bungie was under Activision, it felt like they kind of like had like this deal where it's like, well, we're gonna do what we want, and Activision is gonna say okay, and it worked out. And Activision was a pretty hated company at the time, I think, I don't know where they're at now, but I mean, they were in like that EA space, so like everybody hated Activision, right? Or Acti Blizz or whatever the hell they were called by then.
I
Um,
think people still kind of hate Activision, but
yeah,
the hate has kind of lessened since they've been absorbed under the Microsoft umbrella,
right.
and a lot of hate has now been kind of redirected to Microsoft as a parent company, which I think we'll get to a little bit later in the episode.
Okay.
But like with Microsoft, sorry, with Activision back then, um, I think they had a lot of creative leeway to
Yeah.
like make Destiny the way they wanted to, but also Activision wanted sequels out the door. The reason
Yep.
Destiny 2 exists is because Activision wanted it. They were like Bungie themselves were not ready to move on from Destiny 1. They wanted
Yeah.
Destiny 1 to be like a 10-year game.
The,
Now they've got with Destiny 2 their 10-year game.
yeah.
But
And I do think there is some merit to what Activision wanted, only from the standpoint of like one of the things that held Destiny back for so long was support for legacy consoles, right? So
yeah,
you can't just be like, okay, we're just going to stop making this game available for 360, even though that's what we sold it for, right? If you're Activision, right, people would lose their minds, right? So I do think there was an idea, at least, that Activision was going with Destiny 2, where like, okay, we're going to stop supporting, the 360s and the PS4s of the world because where we're going with this game, it's just not feasible to kind of like keep downgrading and keeping like file sizes small and stuff like that. And they didn't want to do that with Destiny 2, I don't think, right? So the compromise ended up being the infamous vaulting, right? So they ended up vaulting all of that stuff. And I think that ended up being a different kind of mistake.
yeah, vaulting was about keeping install sizes down
Right.
on and for Destiny 2. And I kind of understand why you would do it, but it also meant that it completely broke the new player experience, which made
Right.
it really hard to pull in new players. Um, and I don't know how I would navigate this. I'm not a game designer or producer, but there kind of has to be a better solution and a better onboarding process. Like if games like World of Warcraft and Warframe can do it, it's not like there aren't models that can be followed.
Yeah.
Um, so anyway, hopefully, Marathon. I won't say anything hopefully about Marathon because I don't really care what happens to Marathon. Hopefully, Bungie can stay afloat.
Yeah. Hopefully
Um,
Bungie stays on. I'll give you that one.
and as for Grand Theft Auto 6, who knows if it'll even come out this year?
I don't think it
Um,
will. That might be my prediction. I don't know.
I need it to because it's in my fantasy critic.
There's just so many things about like I never hear anything positive about the studio, about you know the pathway to release. It seems like that teaser almost like had the opposite effect where everybody's like, yeah, this is even further away than we thought. But who knows?
Also, there's the whole like union busting thing where they
Yeah,
fired
they
people in
closed down
that
a whole
union district.
studio or something, right? Like it was a
It was 30 something employees fired from one of their studios over union organizing activity.
no,
And like that's just despicable on so many levels. And again, it's like the kind of thing where I kind of don't want this game to succeed because I don't want a union busting studio to be able to succeed, but also I understand that I want the really talented people who worked hard in this game to be able to reap the rewards of their talent.
yeah,
And
it's even harder to justify right now too because I mean a lot of other studios are like kind of you know begrudgingly yes, but they're like fine, here's you can have a union. It's weird that like their response was not only can you not have one, we're gonna fire 30 of you with a game release that's pending for a million years at this point.
yeah, it's not like Take Two makes more money than God.
Yeah,
They can have unions. It's not going to kill the company. So like I don't know what the hang up is, and I guess I'd never understand being in that position and making that decision. Um, so let's move on to your second realistic prediction, which I'm going to say is like I wrote false. I'm gonna say like 2% true, and
okay.
I'll get to what I mean by this. So your prediction was that Nintendo Switch 2 will initially flop and have a slow launch. And what happened was kind of the other way around. It was
Hmm.
extremely strong out of the gate. It became the fastest selling console ever out of the gate.
Yep.
But in the
And
holiday
then what
season,
happened? Yeah.
sales were down significantly in the US compared to
Yeah.
Switch One's first holiday season. They were down 35%, which means it was still selling respectably. It was still selling very well, just way less well than the Switch One's first holiday season. It maintained its pace in Japan. It's been selling like crazy
Yeah.
in Japan. Uh, but the US, we don't have Canadian stats or like UK stats. I wasn't able to dig those up, but it doesn't seem like it's doing as well in the US. And it's hard to know whether that's like current US specific economic impacts or if this is more broad and like in the West it's not doing as hot as the Switch One. But
So I think
it
what I
seems
was
to be
trying
doing
to get
okay.
yeah, what I was trying to get with that prediction, I guess, was maybe more like I think that Nintendo has a very built-in user base at this point, right? And I think that there's going to be a lot of people I thought who would be like, "Look, my Switch is good enough. You know what I mean? I don't need to go to the Switch 2 just yet." Kind of like what happened with, where there's a lot of late adoption to like the PS5, right? Hey, I can play most of my stuff that I still enjoy on my PS4. I
Yeah, I
didn't
still
think
don't
that
have a PS5.
yeah, yeah. So I thought that was gonna be kind of a similar thing that happened with Switch was like most people would be like, okay, I still can play 90% of the stuff on my Switch. And then, slowly it would kind of get adopted. But I guess it was kind of the opposite. Everybody kind of jumped in right away. But then the sale, like 35 is a pretty big holiday drop for like a console. That's a fair amount. You
Yeah,
usually want to
that's
see that
like
number go
console to
up.
console, but
Yeah,
it's also like the base effect of Switch One holiday sales
being
um,
huge.
being huge in 2017.
Yeah.
So it's still selling respectably well, but I think there are probably some analysts. I don't know what they're expecting internally at Nintendo, but there are definitely some analysts who thought this came in lower than they were expecting. So I don't know. We'll
Yeah,
see.
I'll give it a
I don't
little
think
bit.
this is gonna be. This is not a commercial failure for
No,
Nintendo
I
by
don't.
any means.
Yeah, I definitely was wrong
But
about that. But I
it's
think
not like it's probably not like the smash runaway success that a couple of analysts were predicting. Um, all right, Quinley Thorne's second realistic prediction. We will see a trend away from live service games. I'm going to say this was mostly false. Um, in the sense that, yeah, the critically acclaimed games from last year, for the most part, were not live services. But like last year, Arc Raiders, Battlefield 6, Elden Ring, Night Rain, a bunch of live services came out, and they took the world by storm.
yeah.
So live services are here to stay, for better or worse. They're not going anywhere.
I think what maybe where she might have been right. I think we're going to see less and less lazy live service. Just like Marvel Avengers just like
Oh
put a
yeah,
live service in because you can, because I think people now there is, at least in the gaming world, there's a little bit of like negativity with calling your games a live service game, right? It's got a little bit of a taint to it that maybe it didn't have in the past. So I think you're going to see less and less shoehorning in. So I think she was right about that. But I think that the live service model is just going to be sneakier in a lot of games, and you're not going to realize, oh shit, I'm 2 hours into it. This is actually a live service game or something like that.
like also, the other thing is live service components have been kind of incorporated into a lot of games.
Hmm.
Like, if you think about it, pretty much every Nintendo game is now a live service game because they add significant updates like every few months for a couple of years after the game comes out.
Right.
So they added a bunch of stuff. They just added a bunch of stuff to Mario Kart World. They added some stuff to Donkey Kong Bonanza. They added like that balloon searching game to Mario Odyssey back in 2018 for free. They
And
just keep adding stuff in.
for another example, like because you mentioned Battlefield 6, right now, if you go to like any Battlefield 6 community, the big controversy is where's the new season, right?
Oh
That's
yeah,
that's a very much a live service thing, right? I can tell you when I used to play Battlefield 1942, no one was asking where's the new season. We were waiting a couple years for an expansion. You know what I mean? Like, so that mentality is baked in right now, where people are saying, "Well, season two's been delayed. This is bullshit. I need more. I need more content. I want to play new stuff. I want new maps. I want new unlocks." You're playing a
it's
live service game at that point, like
it is a lot. Yeah, it is a live service game, but at the same time, it's like, bro, go play another game for a
yeah,
little
yeah,
bit.
yeah,
Battlefield 6 will still be
yeah.
there
It'll be there
when
as soon
you
as you
come
come back.
back.
Yeah.
Like you can, I don't know, man. Like go ride a bike, go watch a movie. Like it's okay to not play a game and then come back to it. It doesn't mean that game is a failure.
Right.
Like
And I think I think though that if you told most people, "Hey, you're like that because you've accepted that there's going to be live service things in your games to the point where when it's not there, you get angry." They're gonna be like, "No, no, it's not the live service part. I just like," you know what I mean? Like
I
they,
just
they
want
don't.
updates. I don't want live
Yeah,
service. I'm
that's
like,
live service. Yeah,
that's live
exactly.
service, bro. What are you doing?
That didn't exist, like 20 years ago. You just played what you got, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah,
All right, let's get into the long shot predictions. These are going to be funny.
yeah.
Um, my long shot prediction was MediaVision will put out either Valkyria Chronicles 5 or the next Digimon story game in 2025. Both will eventually come to the Nintendo Switch 2, one within 3 months of the console's launch. Uh, this was I wrote half true. I'm gonna say quarter true.
Okay.
Digimon Story Time Stranger was fully announced in 2025 and came out that year, but it did not come to Switch 2 and has not been announced for Switch 2.
Even though it seems like it's the perfect fit, so
It so could run on a Switch 2.
yeah.
Like it's not a super duper high fidelity game. It's a perfect fit for Switch 2. I don't know why it's not there. Maybe it'll get announced like at one of the directs. Probably the February direct. There's
I wonder
always a
if
February direct.
maybe there was like a vibe like Switch 2 was going to be like you didn't want to crowd the Nintendo launches. You know what I mean? And so like maybe
Yeah,
some of these were like slow burned. So like, you're not having to compete with, Bonanza and all that other stuff.
maybe, but there's no like major turn-based RPG on the Switch 2
Yeah.
right now. So they
I
could
haven't really
have
even
like
looked at the 2026 for the Switch 2 at all. Like I'm not even sure what's on the horizon. It seems like this might be the time where you do want to get some stuff out.
yeah, there's a bunch of stuff which we'll get to later, like in what we're anticipating. Um, but a lot of it hasn't been dated yet. Usually
Mhm.
what Nintendo does, they kind of date their 2026 releases during a February direct. So probably in a few weeks. We're recording this by the way on January 25th. So probably in a few weeks we'll have a better picture of what Nintendo's 2026 looks like. I would be surprised if Time Stranger never came to the Switch 2. Um, but you never know. Bandai Namco's kind of a mess these
Yeah.
days. Who
Yeah.
knows whether they could actually
They
do
put out
anything.
what they put out when they put it out, right?
Yeah, it's like there's certain Japanese publishers that seem to be doing very well, like Capcom and to some extent Sega. But then you look at like what's going on with Square Enix, which just seems to be complete chaos. Bandai Namco's also not doing well. They canceled an unreleased Blue Protocol, which I still can't get over because it's so ridiculous.
And
Um,
then, like every time Square releases something, it's like it only sold 100 million units. We expected it to sell 500 million units for some damn reason. They've always got like the most unrealistic expectations for some reason.
yeah, they expect like the entire population of like the United States and Indonesia put together to buy their video games. And it's like, I don't know, man, that mom ain't buying like 3 copies
Very
of
co-
GTA, one for or not GTA, like Final Fantasy, one for each of her kids.
yeah,
Like, I'm
yeah.
sorry, little Timmy's still sucking his thumb. He doesn't know how to hold a controller. Get over
They're not going to be
yourselves.
like a Hitman given out at gas stations. It's so popular. Like it's gonna be a video game,
Can you
buddy.
imagine that? You just like fill her up and then this
Here,
the
take a
station
Tomb
attendant just
Raider.
like tosses you a Tomb Raider disc. They don't even own Tomb Raider anymore. They sold
I
the
know, but that
IP.
that that was when like the Hitman and Tomb Raider era was when I was like, these guys have no concept of what a video game sells. Like it was so
Exactly.
ridiculous.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
Hitman is still a big hit. I still see people streaming it and playing it. It's still like a whole thing, and it's just like, nope, it didn't sell 500 million copies. So what
They,
a absolute failure it was.
they must be hitting themselves for letting go of IO
Yeah,
Interactive.
absolutely. They
Because
have to
now
be.
IO's sitting pretty. They've got that 007 deal. And
Yep,
that game, by the way, looks pretty cool.
I think so
Um,
too. That's on my
so
list.
yeah, like they threw away the studio that managed to nab the license for one of the biggest properties in the world.
Yeah,
That's making some of the most interesting, most critically acclaimed, most like immersive simulationist games out there.
yeah.
Um, it's I don't know
It
what
also made
Square
like
Enix
the
is
the
doing.
it look made their portfolio look a little cooler, by the way, too. Like, just it's not all just, you know what I mean, like
Because it was
Japanese
all like
RPGs
it was
and
all
like
JRPGs and like
yeah,
Just Cause.
yeah. And then now then you add Tomb Raider, you add Hitman, you kind of got like a different feel for everything. Now it's like, no, never mind. We're good with
Yeah,
that.
And Just Cause the series seems to be dead. Just Cause 4 was really bad.
Yeah,
Uh,
I did 3 was starting to show the cracks, but yeah,
3
4 I
changed the
think was
tone a lot.
exactly,
Like, 3
exactly.
was very serious in ways that it really shouldn't have been. Like that Just Cause should be really satirical, like almost
Absolutely.
Tropico-esque in
Yeah.
tone, and 3 was really, really self-serious. 4 tried to bring back a bit of that humor, but the game like it was mechanically so finicky and terrible,
Mhm. They
that
really fell
like
in love with a mechanic that the average person I don't think connected with, the grappling thing.
oh, yeah, like grappling different things together.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
I just wanna be able to cause chaos real quick, and
yeah,
the problem was, like, if you set up complicated contraptions, the game was programmed to not let you use them.
yeah,
So, like, I was trying to get out of a pit one time, and I tried to, like, I think, grapple a bunch of balloons to a crate and then stand on the crate. The thing is, I could stand on the crate normally, I could stand on the crate with balloons, but the second I set the balloons in motion,
yeah,
it would, like, knock me off the crate, like, it didn't want me to use ingenuity.
yeah, and, like, it punished you sometimes for, like, even trying to do that because the second you try to grapple and it didn't work, you just died most of the time.
Yeah, it's I don't know what they're doing with Just Cause 4. I gave up, I never finished that game. And I
Oh,
played Just Causes 2
you
and
didn't miss a
3,
lot.
like I played those a lot. Um, alright, let's get to Bones's long shot prediction. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle will keep its momentum and be a Game of the Year nominee at the end of 2025. I guess they mostly false in
Yeah,
that
even though it should have,
it should
I
have.
would say.
That game
Yeah,
rules. And I would say it did keep its critical momentum, especially in early
yeah,
2026. The streets were talking about Indiana Jones and how it
yeah,
was actually an immersive sim and it wasn't like this weird first person Uncharted. It was like, I kept calling it Thief 5 because it was
yeah.
basically Thief 5.
That's a good way.
Uh,
It that momentum is just so hard to keep by the time that year ends. You know what I mean? Like when you get that like deluge, and I think had this been a similar gaming year to 2024, I definitely would have seen that. Right? I just think 2025 ended up being incredibly strong near the end of the year, and it just kind of pushed Indiana Jones like to the back of the line,
yeah, I think the only nod it got at the Game Awards was a voice acting nom for Troy Breaker.
which it
And
should have got one for basically everybody in that cast. That game had some voice acting, man. That was
oh, definitely for forget
Tony
the
Hale.
act. It's a
What's his
German
name?
man. I forget his name.
Yeah.
But his performance as the villain is so
Yeah,
good.
best villain I can remember in a while. I mean, it was yeah. Everything about that
Just
game came together in
perfect.
such a weird way that I was making fun of that game when it was announced, and then I'm like, "Holy shit, this game's amazing."
Yeah, I did not expect what that game was,
Yeah.
and I don't think critics expected it either. And once it came out, they're like, "Oh wait, this actually kind of rules."
Yeah.
And the word spread, and then like up till March 2025, people were talking about it. But then by the end of 2025, I don't think it kept that momentum, unfortunately. Your long shot prediction: Game Pass everywhere. I don't think that happened.
No.
um,
Instead, they just release games everywhere. Like, I mean, everybody's getting a Fable, everybody's getting a whatever. So, I
Fable day one on
yeah,
PS5,
day
which
one.
is wild.
Yep.
Um,
I
I
think
still haven't watched that developer direct, by the way. I need to get
yeah.
around to watching that.
It's a pretty good
Uh,
one. But no, so I mean, I guess I was wrong about Game Pass, and that's going to be so instead of selling Game Pass to PlayStation, PlayStation is going to buy the game. You know what I mean? And then Game Pass is going to be your incentive to keep to an Xbox system is going to be that's where the Game Pass is. So you get all these games for the subscription, which is not what I expected, honestly.
that's what I was saying. That the appeal of the Xbox like hardware ecosystem is not going to be the hardware itself or even the availability of games. It'll be the
The Game
subscription
Pass.
service
Yeah.
that like allows you to get, if you're a hardcore gamer, allows you to get a lot of games for cheaper on the whole.
Well, which is what basically worked for Netflix, right? That's how Netflix took over the DVD market, right?
Yeah,
Like Netflix originally was like, okay, well, yeah, you can get DVDs from us, but also we have this new service, where, and eventually it won out, right? Like I don't own a DVD player now, and if you would have told me that around the time I first got Netflix, I'd be like, you're crazy. Why would I ever not have a DVD player? and now I don't because I can stream it all, you know? And I think that's maybe what Microsoft identified was like, hey, this is the path is more of a Netflix, and who cares that they can play our games on PlayStation because eventually we're going to sell the service, is why you want an Xbox, not the console itself.
I still have a DVD player. It's called a PS4.
No, there you go. Yeah, I guess that's
Yeah,
true. I
I
have
I
a
don't like
PS4.
I don't like buy a dedicated DVD player, or a dedicated Blu-ray player anymore. I'm weird. I have a Blu-ray player in my tower because I'm still a nerd who insists on having an optical disc drive in his tower.
So, I have like one of the like detachable ones. Like, so I can if I need to. Like when I went to, I loaded up that Lord of the Rings RTS a couple months ago, and I was like, oh yeah, discs. Like these things that I used to like make or break my entire life. Now, oh, those exist. Had this really weird
Yeah,
moment.
the only games I ever bought on disc for PC in like my adult gaming era, not like adult as in like XXX, but you know what I mean, like 18, like
Your
being
naughty
older
face.
than 18 and playing video games. The only games I bought on disc were Alpha Protocol, weirdly enough, and Dragon Age Inquisition I actually bought on disc.
Yeah.
Um,
I have a Drakensang game. I don't even know that I've ever played it. I don't even know where I got it, but that's one on a disc. And then I have a World in Conflict. So I don't think that might have been like still when that things came out in DVD phase, but I have World in Conflict on like this like special collector's edition that came with a piece of the Berlin Wall and stuff like that. I thought it was
Interesting.
cool.
And finally, Quinley Thorne's long shot prediction. Hollow Knight Silk Song will come out, and that turned out to be true.
Yeah.
I told her at the time that wasn't a long
That's
shot.
not a
But
long shot. Yeah. I mean, like, yeah, I don't know
that's a
about that.
cheat. That's cheating.
Yeah.
You cheated, Quinley.
When the rest
Um,
of ours were like, pretty damn long shotty. I don't know. I don't know if that one is gonna count.
yeah, so it's true, but you get no points. Sorry, Quinley. You have to be bolder with these long shots. Uh, um, but I don't know. I think at this stage, maybe GTA 6 will come out. Would be a long shot this time around.
I think so
Uh,
because I mean, I think March has that feeling of like, okay, we don't know when this is gonna come out. If they'd said January or February for some reason, I'd have felt more confident.
well,
But there's
March was the
something
original, and then it got moved to November.
yeah, that's what I mean. So I think by pushing it to the end of the year, I think March. If you would have said March last year, I think it would have been maybe not a long shot. But I think now with it being November, it's definitely a long shot.
Like it's hopes and dreams that they're getting it out this year.
Yeah,
Um, I don't know. I don't have the same contempt for GTA that some people have. I mean I hated GTA 5, don't get me wrong. But I want GTA 6 to be able to succeed. I There's so much I like about the gameplay ideas and the
yeah.
general setup of
It can
this.
be
I
clumsy with its, narrative, like, kind of like it's what it's
Oh,
going
the
for in
writing in
some ways.
GTA 5 is awful.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not like especially coming off San Andreas and 4
4, yeah,
that
especially, yeah.
had a little bit more depth in San Andreas. Like San Andreas is really goofy and often very offensive, but also tells this really like a like a pretty cogent tale of
Yeah,
like forgetting your roots and then coming back to them.
and very, like, of its time, I will say, but that was kind of the movie feel for a lot of that genre anyway, so, like, it
Yeah.
didn't seem as out of place then as it would now, because that's, like, what many, 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 like, movies about that experience were going for anyway.
Yeah, it's I how do I put
Like,
this?
you didn't leave the gang life, the game it's always gonna follow
The
you
gang
around,
life
man.
left
Yeah,
me, right?
yeah,
And then he
exactly,
goes and
yeah.
like flies planes for the CIA and then comes
Yeah,
back to Grove Street.
yeah,
Um, it's there is like a sense of storytelling and wanting to like impart a message in San Andreas and 4, and then some of the other like Rockstar games of the era, such as like Red Dead and LA Noire, which was developed by Team Bondi but like published by Rockstar. Um, there is a sense of like trying to impart something that GTA 5 just kind of lost.
yeah.
Um,
It tried to walk the line of, like, being a little bit of too much of everything for everybody, and I think lost a lot of, like, the biting satire that I think they really wanted to go for.
yeah, there was satire, it just was not biting.
Yeah, it ended
Um,
up being like, "Well, okay, so I actually am torturing this guy, so what are you trying to tell me? Like, torture's cool if it is done by me? Or, like, what's the message they were going with, you know?"
yeah, there isn't much of a message there at all, and it's unfortunate because I think there are good ideas that in this genre of game that I think they could really push forward in GTA 6 if they have the guts.
And, the other thing is with Saints Row kind of dying out too, I think it's lost any kind of, like, urgency or, like, "Hey, we've gotta be better than we have been," because Saints Row's dead, and I think that was the only thing that was trying to do the same thing, even close to what GTA does, and so with no competition, I think that now they're gonna kinda give way to some of their worst instincts maybe.
You also had like true crime, sleeping dogs, mafia, watchdogs, all in this area,
Yeah.
but none of those franchises are alive except for Mafia, which recently had a linear spin-off.
Yeah, it was not at all what I mean, it was a good game. I just don't think it was what people were expecting from a Mafia game, which had kind of made its, GTA, but in the 1930s, vibe with it.
Yeah, it's really there's really no competition now
Yeah.
for Grand Theft Auto, and they can make exactly what they want. I'm sitting here begging for Sleeping Dogs 2, which Square Enix will never make.
Well,
Um,
you're getting that one game that's pretty close that was announced. Not exactly, but,
Acts of
uh,
Blood?
that's it, yeah.
Yeah, that I think is it's a different publisher. That's set in Indonesia. Um, but that's more like a Yakuza like.
Oh, you think
Um,
so? Okay.
yeah, that's what I've been told. Then there's also Gang of Dragon, which does seem more like a
Gang of
Sleeping Dog.
Dragons, that's the one I was thinking of, yeah.
Yeah, that seems more like a Sleeping Dogs like.
Okay.
Um, but they're selling it like a Yakuza like. I don't know why.
Maybe because there's not
Like,
enough people who remember Sleeping Dogs at this point. Like it's like the cult classic that Grandpa talks about, rather than
oh,
uh,
th they are I am flat out the grandma in that meme with the walker,
yeah.
being like, "Merv, let's get you to bed," while I'm being like, "Sleeping Dogs was revolutionary in the open world crime genre, and they're gonna make a sequel set across the entire Pearl River Delta." Yeah, it's not happening. Let's predict 2026.
Oh boy.
Um, we'll each make 2 realistic predictions and 1 long shot. Uh, my first realistic prediction. These are all going to be doozies.
Okay.
At least one more computer components manufacturer will exit the consumer market this year, following Micron's lead with the discontinuation of Crucial.
Mm,
So yeah, it's going to get even harder to build a PC. There'll be like one less graphics card manufacturer. So like EVGA or MSI or one of those will leave the market. Um, and or maybe one less RAM manufacturer. So I don't know, maybe G-Skill is gonna pop out of there. There's way too much money to be made from AI data centers. That bubble has not popped yet, unfortunately.
yeah.
Um, it's not like people don't want to build PCs. It's just that
Too expensive
the
to do it. Yeah.
returns, yeah, it's more like the returns for computer parts manufacturers to selling to the B2B market is way, way, way higher than the returns to selling to consumers.
Yeah.
So,
And I think
yeah.
you're seeing that with a lot of the, like, the pre-built prices staying somewhat similar, but I have been hearing that people are getting, like, certain orders canceled, because of reflecting the change in prices of RAM and stuff like that, but, um, I don't know how they're still like, if I go to Best Buy, if there's how they're still selling basically, like, a 5070 and, 32 gigs of RAM for $1,100. I just don't get it, like, whatever's going on with those parts pricings.
What I would guess is that with like whichever company is making that PC, so let's say it's Alienware, they probably have a long-term coverage contract with
Yeah,
their
like a
parts
business
supplier.
interruption type, yeah, thing, yeah, that makes
It's
sense.
yeah, so once those contracts get renegotiated, that's when you'll start seeing these pre-builts skyrocket in price.
Yeah.
But that might not happen until like the end of this year. So yeah, who knows? What's your first realistic prediction?
So, kind of in the same line, I think this is the year finally that cloud and on-demand computing starts to really take off. I mean, more so than it has been. I think it's always like ever since that online service, it's been kind of like, okay, well, this is the future. This is the future. I think with like similar to what you're saying, I think with the cost of actually making a computer being so high, I think you're gonna start to see, like, your NVIDIA Nows or your GeForce Nows or your Microsoft Cloud gaming really start to take off as an actual, like, thing that is not just something that people know that they can do, but something that's kind of more upfront advertised. People are realizing that this is gonna be where it's gonna go because option 2 is I have to, like, spend way more money than it's probably worth to run a game at similar specs.
Yeah, I can see this happening.
Yeah, this is my safe one, so I don't expect anything crazy. But yeah, like I guess just for me, I think right now I know I can play a game on Xbox Cloud if I wanted to through Game Pass, right? I never fucking do it. I still install my games, and run it on my computer or whatever. But that's going to be the thing I think that starts to change most is like I'm going to actually start getting better performance from the cloud than I am from my currently 4080 system. And I don't want to go to a 49 or a 5090, because it's too expensive. So I think people who are like me, who are building computers, who do know what to do, who are pricing stuff out, aren't going to see the benefit of basically running something from their own computer rather than just doing it from the cloud.
Yeah, I can see that happening to some degree. Like, it's all going to depend on how well the stuff is marketed and how well it runs, and also how good people's internet connections are.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because this stuff is uh, I don't know to what extent you're using cloud in your workplace. Cloud is big in my workplace. Like
Yeah.
all our currently transitioning all our work to cloud computing platforms.
That's same for us.
Uh,
Yep.
and it's it is kind of a rough transition. But like there's certain things that run way faster
Yep.
with cloud compute.
Things like Excel or like any of that kind of like data crunching stuff, it just seems like it's so much faster.
Anything data crunching, or I sometimes have to render out technical documents, and the rendering software is just way faster in the cloud.
Mhm.
But there are other problems with doing stuff in the cloud in a business environment. Like it's way less customizable. So I'm trying to install LaTeX packages in my cloud environment, and I can't do it. So I can't render my technical documents properly. And so I'm just bringing them back down to desktop and doing the rendering there. And
Yep.
instead of the document rendering in 5 seconds, it takes 3 minutes. Um,
Yeah.
so there's kinks to work out at the business level. At the consumer level, um, if you're the kind of person who doesn't need to tinker very much and you can just accept whatever the performance or the experience is out of the box, I think it's a really neat and viable solution. If you're a modder or someone who wants to mess around, then it becomes a less attractive proposition.
Right,
And
right.
we'll have to see to what extent it's these are people just going after the latest and greatest, or whether these are the real nerds who want to tinker.
Right. That and I see myself going into that, and I think I'm pretty much the tinkerer nerd. You know what I mean? So I see like the more and more I start to think about it, it's like, why am I going to spend 5 grand on a computer when I can get 85% of the performance? You know what I mean? From just streaming it or running it from the cloud. So that's the space I'm getting in. So I don't know if I'm the outlier or if that's where other people are getting with it.
I have no idea because I'm very much out of the whole personal cloud computing environment.
Mhm.
It's something I might experiment with if I can try demos of it. Um,
Well, because like I think Pentiment was the first time where people were like, "Man, that looks like a cool game. I wish I had an Xbox to check it out." And I was like, "Go spend $1 and play, and you have a month to beat Pentiment." Well, I don't have an Xbox. You don't need one. You can stream it to whatever you're typing on this website on. You know what I mean? And it was just like it wasn't really connecting. But I think that's going to be something where maybe it's messaging, maybe it's advertising, or maybe it's just out of necessity where it starts to feel different this year.
yeah, I think how I put this. If Nvidia hadn't fully taken the AI pill,
Mhm.
this would be a really good opportunity for them to start selling GeForce Now.
Yeah.
Um,
B
Now, are they gonna do that this year? No, they seem to have
Nope.
basically, like, killed their own consumer-facing
Yeah.
stuff to, again, feed the AI bubble, and you just wonder, like, what will be left for NVIDIA once that bubble bursts?
Yep.
Now that they've put all their eggs in that basket. I mean, they still have a whole bunch of, like, industry tech stuff. Their chips are in a whole bunch of devices. It's not just graphics cards. So, in the long run, they'll probably be fine, but I think they're going to regret neglecting their consumer market and letting AMD kind of worm their way back in.
I mean, this has happened. This is not the first time this has happened. There used to be a million, options for GPUs way, way, way back in the
Yeah,
day,
there's
right?
Matrox, there was
Yeah.
Voodoo.
And then
Uh,
it slowly became, well, hey, we can actually make more making, chips for calculators. Surely this will never be an issue, And then, hey, look what happened. I mean, you can go too far into a bubble, and that becomes who you are. I'm not saying that 100% happened with Nvidia, but I mean, you kill off your consumer facing, branch, and then AMD steps up and fills a void, and then there's a whole generation of kids who grew up with Nvidia or AMD, and they're willing to deal with those awful drivers. But eventually maybe AMD gets better at drivers, and they're working with developers to make sure that the games run great on AMD cards, and Nvidia doesn't give a shit because they're all in the AI world. So that can turn around, and man, I think every single person who knows anything about anything, like economically, is like, yes, this is a bubble. This is what a bubble looks like. This is making no money, and people are dumping tons and tons of money. And it's like the one thing holding up the economy, the entire economy right now is fucking Nvidia, right? So, like, yeah, this has the potential to burst. And we'll see what happens if it does, or when it does, I guess. But
like,
man,
when you have the CEO of Microsoft out there, like, begging people to stop calling the outputs of Gen
it's
AI,
slop.
quote
Yeah.
unquote, slop, I'm like,
No, I'm gonna keep doing it.
they're gonna
Number
keep
one.
doing it.
Yeah.
It's I have so much contempt for that man, not just because he's ruining being a bald Indian man with glasses for me,
Very
but
specific.
I, yeah, like, game recognized game when it comes to that
Yeah.
look.
Yeah.
But like, uh, I have so much contempt for him for being like the main reason why Microsoft Gaming is in dire straits right now. It's
Huh.
like it's Microsoft's
Every advantage
decisions.
he had. Yep. Every advantage. They just,
Like
every wrong
they're
decision he
throwing
could
it
make,
all
he did.
away. I mean, I say they. It's really coming from the Microsoft C-suite, being like, "Hey, you have to make an unrealistic margin. How are you going to make the unrealistic margin? You got to cut costs. How
Yeah.
do you cut
And the
costs? You
way,
just like stop making games."
luckily, the other thing we offer is this AI platform that nobody likes. So maybe use the AI platform nobody likes to make games that nobody wants to play because it's slop, but stop calling it slop. It's such like a
Like,
like feeding
I don't
itself
know, man.
nightmare.
It's like they're killing the golden goose.
Yeah.
Like you watch, like you see what happened with like them giving up Tango and like destroying the initiative and canceling Perfect Dark. Like
Yep.
all this shit is just uh, a way to cut costs to try to make an unrealistic margin goal that they will never hit. All because Satya Nadella does not understand the concept of having business lines that aren't as profitable currently as cloud and AI.
Yeah. Especially when
So
they don't go against your core business model. I mean, you can easily sell Windows as a gaming platform if you keep supporting it correctly, right? Nobody is going to buy Windows because it's an AI platform. It's the dumbest shit ever. You know what I mean? So, like, you're not really selling your core product anymore. And nobody cares about Copilot. There's 10 million AI options right now, and nobody likes any of them. Regular people, at least.
they all suck ass, and they
Yeah.
all make me like. I think
Every
the other day I was trying to like search for something like a really specific arrangement of characters that means something, and like the AI results in the search would just like not give me what I was trying to look for. I think it was like the shorthand for deleting something. I think it's something like circumflex 3 or whatever, but I can't find it anywhere because
Isn't
like
it crazy how bad searching is? I mean, across
yeah,
everywhere is right now. Like, you almost need to ignore the first 5 things you get to actually get the right answer. It's Search shouldn't be like that. As our generation, we grew up, we figured out how to do it. We know when to use and quotes and all that other stuff. It was a perfectly fixed problem, and then they invented a problem and they made the worst
Google
solution
and
for it.
Bing like ignore quotation marks
Yeah,
now, or they'll
I
only
know.
accept them like 75% of the time, but like the other 25% of the time they're just like, "Oh, you put quotation marks? No, you didn't." I'm like, "Fuck you. I put
Or
the
like
quotation
showing
marks for their
results,
reason."
showing results without the thing you put in quotation marks. Like, why? Why would you ever think I wanted to not see the thing that I basically told you I want to see this?
In fact, I
It
put the quotation marks after not putting them to specifically see the thing that you excluded. Why are
yeah.
you excluding it? I was
Uh,
so pissed off when I was
it
doing
happens all
searches
the time now.
the other day.
And like trying to explain to my kids, like, hey, search didn't used to suck. It's very-
You used to be able
Dad,
to go
why
to
did I search this thing?
lycos.com and find
Yeah.
what you wanted. Lycos.com still exists, by the way.
No. Ask Jeeves, they still around?
I think is ask.com still around? We can look this up right
Their whole
now.
thing was like you had like phrased it like a question, right? Wasn't that the whole thing with Ask Jeeves? Like,
Yeah, ask.com is still there. If I
oh, okay.
search, um, what is the capital of Tunisia? The first result for what is the capital of Tunisia is the fascinating flora and fauna of Tunisia. What you need to know.
Yeah,
You
capital.
just need to
That's what
say
you want.
you just like none of these tell me what the capital of Tunisia is. Then the next step is about a step-by-step guide to making homemade harissa from scratch. Third result is unraveling the secrets of Carthage, archaeological insights and discoveries. The fourth letter, what capital letters have point symmetry?
You completely ignored Tunisia at that point.
No result on the first page has the word Tunis in the preview. This is absurd.
This is gonna be like the new like benchmark is like just going on places and like searching for capitals, getting the wrong answer and being like, okay, well, I'm now dumber for having searched for this.
Oh, okay. The second page, this is where it gets hilarious. The second page, what is the capital of Macau? And
What?
then the next result, what is the capital of Antarctica?
Antarctica City, right?
This is incredible. Oh man. What was the
Penguinville.
capital of Spain before Madrid? What is the capital of Australia? None of these. What is the capital city of Dubai? Dubai is an emirate. Why? Okay. Why does Bolivia have two capital cities? Again, none of these are about the capital of Tunisia,
Yeah.
which, by the way, is Tunis. I asked it a question I already knew the answer to um test it. And none of these results are telling you what the capital of Tunisia is. This is
And this
not
is the
like arcane knowledge.
This is the thing that I think so many of these like AI companies are not getting is it's creating a problem that's already been fixed and then it's acting like it's fixing the problem by making it worse, which is just such a weird fucking thing, right? Very like tech bro, like where we're at and like kind of technological dystopian, current life where why are we, you know, we had this thing, we had it fixed, somebody made it a problem so they could sell something and we all acted like it wasn't already fixed for some reason. It's so stupid.
Yeah, we fucked something we'd already unfucked.
Yeah, yeah.
So I yeah, I don't know. Um
Yeah, but that's my prediction. I think this is the year that cloud services are finally able to sell themselves. Maybe this lets Amazon get back into the game too, because God knows they want to try something with computing or cloud
yeah,
and video games. So maybe that's the entry point. But um,
Luna never took off, but it's still
mm-mm.
around.
Still
It's not
around,
like
and they
Stadia.
haven't killed it, which is
Yeah.
interesting. So maybe they do see something, and it's just like kind of like a nod of its time thing. But I'll tell you, man, prices on these computers keep going up. Luna becomes a more and more and more and more attractive thing to look into if you're able to, run day one stuff with, at least 80% fidelity of what you could with like a 5080 or something.
Yeah, and like I'm running a 4070, so that would
Hmm.
be probably an improvement over what I have right now.
Yeah,
I mean, but the thing is, this thing is still holding up. I bought this PC
same.
back in 2019.
Yeah,
I haven't replaced the processor. I've replaced the graphics card. It came with a I bought it with a 2080, and I replaced the 2080 and put in a 4070 when my 2080 died. I've replaced a couple of other things in there, but I really haven't. like had to do anything else with it. I replaced the power supply. That's the other thing I have to replace,
Yeah, 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 that's
which
a
was a
no-brainer.
gigantic pain in the ass.
Yeah, I gotta get every
Um,
cord out there.
yeah, but other than that, this thing is still chugging, and I have no intention of replacing it. So I don't know. Hopefully, prices come down before I have to. Personas will not be announced this year.
Okay. So we're flipping course on Persona.
We're flipping the tables. Um, because it would be the most Atlas thing ever to not announce Persona 6 in the year of the 30th anniversary of the series.
Oh, maybe they do, like, remakes and stuff, you think?
Yeah, like they have the golden opportunity to do it and they won't do it. That is how Atlas behaves.
Mm.
So I think Persona 6 is actually coming in 2028 and will be announced in quarter one of 2027. It is not going to get announced this year.
Oh,
Um,
okay. That's interesting. Yeah, I can see it happening because I feel like, especially with them, they want to build to like a level of hype. Like I'm not a big Persona person, but everybody I know who is like almost like gets like breathless when the announcements finally happen. So I think they want it to feel like it's like this special thing, not just like maybe like when they're going to do a whole bunch of remakes and stuff like that.
Yeah, maybe they wanna kinda separate it out from the rest of the Persona announcements,
Hmm.
but the Persona announcements this year, it's not like they have a Persona 4 remake in the pipeline, we know that, but the rest of it's just gonna be, like, figurines or, like, DLC for fighting games or stuff like that. It's not gonna be stuff that people really care about except for the diehards. Like, look, I love Jack Frost and I want that Jack Frost plushie, but I don't care about um I don't know, putting Joker in Tekken or whatever. Um
I don't care about Joker. I feel like I know so much about Joker, and I've never, like, it's just like every time, like whenever he's announced, this is Joker, Joker, Joker. Like, okay, cool. I
I
don't even
don't
know
know
who
why
he
people
is,
care
but
so much about Joker. He's the player character, but he barely talks because Atlas does the whole quasi-silent protagonist thing.
oh
He
yeah,
says like 5 words in the game.
yeah. Not not
Um,
not
yeah.
as interested in Joker as I guess they thought I would be. Yeah, I could see that. I think especially with the back and forth of some of where RPGs are currently, you don't want to come out at the same time that everybody else is.
Yeah, we'll see though if they're not gonna be stepping on someone else's toes or having someone else step on their toes if it's coming out all the way in 2028. Like, new Yakuza will be out by then, or Like a Dragon, I should say, will be out by then, and Like a Dragon 9 will be. I mean, it's from the same company, so and
Yeah, oh
Sega's
yeah,
not
I guess
are
so.
not a
Yeah.
stranger to having like their RPGs competing against each other. It's not as bad as Square Enix, which I think one year just had like dumped all their RPGs. So like Star Ocean 6 came out in the same year as the Diofield Chronicle and Harvestella and Valkyrie Elysium, just like all in one go.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Um,
because you're gonna buy all of those, right? That's how it works. That's
I
probably
bought
what they think. Like,
I
oh
bought
yeah,
precisely 0 of those. I
yeah.
heard that Harvestella is actually secretly really good, but I'm never gonna know because I had other things to play. So, yeah. Sega, no stranger to doing that, but hopefully they won't. What's your second prediction?
Okay. So not exactly. I don't know if this is gonna end up being a prediction that is super out there or whatever. I think that Microsoft is done making consoles.
So they'll
I don't.
stop making consoles in
I don't think
2026?
they're gonna. Well, I think they're gonna continue the current line, but I think there's gonna be at least some kind of like, hey, there's not gonna be a next Xbox.
So there's gonna be like a report coming out that they're not
At
building
least,
next
yeah,
one. Okay.
if not an announcement. So kind of going back to what we were talking about a little bit, I think with, hey, Microsoft is all in on a couple different things. I think they're all out on consoles. I think they've admitted they've lost the console war. I think they're all in on cloud, and I think the way they're going to do that is just going to say, look, there's just not going to be another Xbox. I
So
think,
Sarah Bond is gonna backtrack.
yep, I think so.
Okay.
I think the conventional wisdom or whatever, I think is like, hey, you're gonna get one more. We're gonna get at least one more. I think it's done. I don't see a reason for them to keep going down that road of making something that's losing them money. And I think what they've really admitted this year is that the future is Game Pass, right? And so I think that's gonna mean that, hey, there's not going to be another one of these.
Um, yeah, I think that's bold. I would
Yeah,
say an
I think so too.
Xbox 5 happens, but I don't think an Xbox 6 happens.
Okay, I think that's where everybody's at, right?
Yeah.
I think the bold part of this is I don't think it'd be bold to say there's no Xboxes. I think there's gonna be no Xbox 5. I
Okay.
don't see the reason
That
for
is
it
that is
in
very
the
bold,
current
but
market because
I
well,
like the
think about this:
boldness.
with components getting more and more and more expensive, the consoles are already basically losing money, right? But now if you're having to put RAM and, some form of GPU and all this other stuff into a console, you're losing more money. Your margin's even worse, right? So if you're all the way in on cloud like you seem to be, what's the point? The conversion happens now, basically. And even if it doesn't, you're selling all your games on PS5 anyway, or what'll probably be PS6, until the day Sony says no, you can't sell your stuff on our platform. I don't think they're going to
Which
care.
they're not gonna do because they make margin off all the
Of the
games they sell
games.
on there,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So what do they care? It's more money.
Right.
Um,
So, I mean, financially, I think, if you're just looking at like the cut and dry financials of it, I don't think it makes sense for Microsoft to make another console.
oh, I fully agree. Now, it depends whether they're willing to shift course. Microsoft is a behemoth and
Yeah.
doesn't tend to turn on a dime, but you never know.
Well,
So I don't think this is fully out to lunch. It's just going to involve them backtracking,
yeah.
which again they're no stranger to. Um, the interesting
Yeah.
thing
Rip
is
soon.
like, oh yeah, Zune, Windows Phone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, like the interesting thing is for Sony, they're kind of still all in on their console. I don't know how much margin they're making on a PS5, and whether they'll be able to continue with it. Like the PS5s have come down in price, the base
Yeah.
ones,
Yeah.
but the PS5 Pro is still like
Yeah.
dreadfully
So full
expensive.
full price. Yeah. I think even it's even more full price than what it was announced at. I think remember there was like an increase. I think it stayed at that increase still.
I'd
Now
have to check.
Sony.
I don't know if there's an increase in Canada, maybe in the States.
Mhm.
Uh, it's four figures with tax, which is wild
That
up here.
yeah. No thanks.
Um, and for Nintendo, the rumor is that they're going to kind of more or less discontinue selling base Switch 2s without bundles
Mm.
and try to make up margin
You
by,
get the mortgage right in the game. Yeah. Get the
yeah,
game
like
back if you
here's
get
a
it.
game bundled so they can sell it for an additional $50, $60, but like the marginal cost of supplying a digital game code is basically negligible. So that's how they're going to get around it.
Yeah.
Um,
It's a weird market right now to be in with the costs going up and up. And I didn't Sony stop making TVs? And they said they were gonna stop making TVs
they're still
or
making
something like
TVs.
that recently. Are they? Okay. I like the consumer electronics market. If you look at any like I think there's like an affordability graph, right? And it shows like the price of cars have gone up, the price of, milk has gone up, right? And like the only thing on the bottom that like has like dramatically dropped is like TVs. Like consumer electronics are like way more cheap than everything else accounting for inflation right now. Um, I
Um,
thought that's kind of interesting because I went out on Black Friday just on a whim kind of, and they're selling like 85-inch TVs for like $600. If you told me that 10 years ago, my mind would have gone out the back of my head. You know what I mean? And it's not like, yeah, yeah, you just buy a TCL with Roku built in, 65-inch for, pocket change basically. It's insane.
I'm looking up uh consumer price index tables right now. I don't really know how to navigate the BLS website, so I'm actually looking at the StatCan website for consumer price index, um, and trying to see like how detailed they get with what they disseminate. Um, like they can get pretty like uh anyway, I'm not going to be able to dig it up right now, but I'll try to see if I can dig up some of the electronics figures
Yeah.
in the Canadian and the American CPIs, just to see how they've trended in comparison to food. Um, like, because I can tell you, food has gone way up
Yeah, yeah. And it's like
in the
food,
U.S.
cars, like tons of things are like way up. But for some reason, like at least on the graph I saw, it's like the only thing that's like in the complete opposite direction is like consumer electronics, basically, like TVs and tablets and stuff like that.
Yeah, I can that I can see. Now there's a whole lot of controversy about how to measure price changes with electronics that we don't need to get into. But yeah, it's clear that they're not really going up to the same degree as like food, shelter, etc. Um, all right, my long shot prediction. This is a fun one.
Okay.
I predict that there is going to be a quote unquote Giga Leak at Electronic Arts.
Oh, I like that already.
The way this is going to happen, my theory, I don't think Jared Kushner surrounds himself with particularly intelligent people. So
Wow, that's brave of you, Merve.
I'm guessing that someone at Silver Lake, one of the companies involved in the consortium that's buying EA, is going to be like really careless with some documents or security, or like the password's going to be like, I don't know, I love oil or I
Yeah,
love
yeah.
ice, you know? And then the leak
Venture capitalism.
venture capitalism 101 or like password 123. Um, and it's someone's gonna hack in and get a whole bunch of materials on EA's business dealings. I don't think it's gonna be exactly like the Nintendo Giga Leak, which was a lot of like game assets. I think this
Mhm.
is gonna be a lot of like business plans, and we're gonna find out what the Saudi PIF has in store for EA
Oh,
through a
yeah. Like
leak.
their nefarious plans are, like, kinda just laid bare.
Yeah, and I don't even think the plans are necessarily that nefarious. I
They're
just
probably
think,
more pathetic, honestly.
yeah, it's probably just like it's probably just gonna be like mostly business as usual. Kill anything that's not like super duper profitable,
Yeah.
and throw a couple of bones to some vanity projects for people in the royal family, so that their favorite, I don't know, DJ can be featured in Battlefield 7.
Yeah, and it's gonna be some, like, make an esports game that we can, like, highlight and, like, play like, everybody comes to Saudi Arabia to come play, some version of, you know, esports. They really seem to love that idea of, like, streamers and esports and stuff coming to that area and, like, kinda showing, "Oh, yeah, look how normal it is that they're paying me to tell you how normal it is." Stuff like that.
Yeah, it's gonna be like, and like they're gonna get someone like who sold out and went to the whatchamacallit, this Riyadh Comedy Festival. They're gonna get
Oh,
like
yeah,
Pete
Bill
Davidson
Burr and yeah.
and Bill Burr to be like the commentators for uh an Apex Legends tournament in Riyadh.
Yeah,
Something
exactly.
like
Because
that.
they want that, like, kinda, like, weird soft power, right? That whole, like, "Look, we're not bad. Your favorite comedian, Bill Burr, is here. We're not bad. The Botez sisters came over during an event and said that we were fun." Like, all these kind of, like, weird, like, areas that I think that that's what they're gonna push for.
Absolutely. It's gonna be it's we're gonna see some interesting things from this
Yeah.
hypothetical leak, I think.
I
Definitely
I'm
something's gonna be.
I would love it. That'd be great. I mean, at least for a podcast, that'd be a fun podcast.
Oh, if the EA Giga League happens, we're definitely gonna do a
Yeah.
podcast. So I'm gonna go through all the materials. I'm gonna like highlight stuff. We're gonna laugh at
Yeah.
passages. Um, we might get canceled by the current US administration, so we have to
Oh,
be a little
no.
careful. But hey, podcast is based in Canada. They can't touch us.
Yeah, yeah.
They can't touch us. I mean,
Yes. You hear that? It's in Canada. Don't leave me alone.
it's in Canada. Like leave Kappa alone. He's an unpaid employee. No one's making any money from this shit. You can't fucking go after me. Don't cross the border. Don't invade over
Oh,
this.
yeah, now you're pushing it. Be
We
careful there.
War of 1812 2, Electric Boogaloo. It's gonna happen. What's your long shot?
Oh, didn't I s do mine? The Microsoft one?
You did your second realistic. You haven't done your
Oh,
long.
shit. Okay, I messed it up. Alright, that was my
Oh,
bad.
so that was your long
That
shot?
was my
That
long shot. Yeah, yeah. Strike that, reverse it. Yeah, that was my long
okay.
shot. I don't know why I thought I did. I mean, my second realistic one, I don't think is going to be as interesting, and I think it's kind of a slam dunk as far as what's going to be happening. I think that everybody's kind of pushing to where this Call of Duty, Warzone, Battlefield like experiences right now with this online battle royale thing. I think that the battle royale is going to be kind of like the new game that gets released. I think that when they release a Call of Duty, it's not going to have a single player or a standard multiplayer. I think it's just they're going to release the battle royale upgrade. And then I think what you're going to probably buy is they're going to flip it. You're going to buy the battle royale. You're going to the multiplayer is going to be the separate part rather than how it is now. And I think that's going to be Call of Duty. I think it's going to be most shooters, Battlefield, all your big shooters. I think they're going into the battle royale space.
So they come out with a single player campaign and like Red Sec instead of single
Yes,
player
flip it.
campaign and like multiplayer. Multiplayer becomes like the expansion
Yes, exactly,
or the
exactly.
additional thing you download.
So when you go buy a Call of Duty or a Battlefield or any Halo, any mainline shooter, I think what you're going to be buying is going to be the online battle or the online battle royale experience. And I think that your free upgrade is going to be your multiplayer, and you're not going to get as much like maps and supports and stuff like that. And I think your single player is going to be like some type of like, you know, small pay for it type thing, like an expansion almost. Because
Kind
I
of
think,
like what Halo Infinite did, where the
yes, exactly what
multiplayer was
Halo
free and
Infinite.
then you
Yep.
pay for the campaign.
Yeah.
I feel like this is a worse world than the one we live in right now.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But it's weird because I see it happening when like with my friends where it would be rare for us to jump on the battle royale. Now that's the default, right? And it's like, no, I want to go play some skirmish, right? It's
I
the
don't want to
flip
play
of
Battle Royale. I want to play like Deathmatch or Capture the
yeah,
Flag.
but
What are we doing here?
so
Oh,
that's
man.
the thing though, is especially what I've seen with Battlefield is that their push has been getting into people into the battle royale so they can play that moment to moment battle royale, and then it's like, oh well, you want to go upgrade your guns, go play skirmish, right? Which means what you want to sell them is the battle royale experience, so might as well put the price tag on that, right? And then make the multiplayer the free to play, and then maybe not on a single player. I think Call of Duty and Battlefield are kind of like half in half out on the single player, you know.
Yeah.
Um i i I don't know if especially with a single player, if the juice is worth the squeeze anymore, especially because nobody's gonna like. No, you're not gonna get 100% of people like any single player campaign anymore. It just kind of feels like that ship sailed, right? Like
I,
you're gonna be
I don't
hard
know
hitting and
because
realistic, or you're gonna be. I don't know. It's
people
weird.
love Black Ops 6. It was like Battlefield 6, people were really big to the campaign and people
Yeah,
hated Black Ops 7's campaign. But the reason people hated Black Ops 7's campaign is because it
it's
was
worse than
slapdash and thrown
six.
together
Yeah.
and way, way, way worse than 6. Like,
But think of all the development time that goes into a single player that ends up being kind of like an also ran. People play for 4 or 5
I,
hours
I
and
mean, for Call of Duty, was it 4? They didn't have a single
yeah,
player? Black Ops
and I
4,
think
sorry.
and the one in Battlefield, uh, 2042 was might as well not have been there. I don't think it was there. I don't think they had one.
I don't
I
think
think
they
they
had a
tried to
single
do
player
the
campaign.
Titanfall thing where it was like the multiplayer missions were the campaign basically. So, yeah,
But
that's kind of the way I see shooters going down the line is the core product is going to be the battle royale because that gets the most people playing, the most money getting spent on skins and stuff like that. And who cares about the actual like what we used to call multiplayer, which would be your capture the flags, your,
Game
stuff
of
like
Hell, your
that.
death match.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's where you go to train for the battle royale, and then but what you're really playing is the battle royale.
On some level, okay, I'm gonna pick the silver lining here. I think this is an awful future. I
Yeah,
could see it
okay.
happening. I think it's an awful future, but I'm gonna pick the silver lining here, which is I think if all goes according to plan, all the sweats
Yes. Yeah.
concentrate in the battle royale, and then you have a more casual audience for the actual fun multiplayer
Yep.
components, and so you can have more fun playing with people of like closer to your skill level, while the sweats yell racial slurs at each other in
Yes.
battle royale.
That is 100% where I think it's gonna go to, right? Where I play, the 50v50 fun Fortnite mode, and I have a blast with the other people who are playing that, and let everybody else who's in that, like, there can only be one mode, play that mode, right? I think that's the second idea behind this is that you've got two different fan bases now with Call of Duty and Battlefield, the two biggest shooters right now, and I'm sure it's getting that way with everybody else, right? There's a fan base who wants to kill 100 people and be the best and show their stream or their friends, here's how many victory royales I've got, here's how good I am, hey, do you guys want to team up, we can stomp some noobs, right? And there's everybody else like, I don't want to deal with that shit, I just want to do an hour and a half of capture the flag with my buddies and then get off, right? So you're appealing to two very different fan bases with those two groups, right? That fan base used to be like, let's say like 75% overlap. Now I'd say it's like the opposite, it's like 25% overlap. So I think that the future is going to be we're selling and we're marketing, and what the experience that you're getting with shooters is going to be that it might not be battle royale, but it's going to be that big, everybody in a big map multiplayer mode, right? And there's a squad or there's a team or there's somebody who walks out of it alive. Maybe it's extraction, maybe it's battle royale, something like that, right? And then the other modes are all going to be, yeah, you go to those modes to train up, but that's not going to be the focus of where the gameplay or the hype or whatever you want to say it is, and the sweats are going to be there.
You know what you're describing to me? You're describing what I think High Guard is going to be.
Yeah, hey, there you go. Perfect example, right? High Guard will probably have a slapped on multiplayer mode so you can get used to the guns and shit, but they are not selling that mode. I don't even think they
It's a
advertised that that game has
PvP raid
multiplayer.
shooter.
Yeah.
I don't know what a raid shooter is. I think they're trying to invent a genre out of thin air.
Yeah, it's not quite an extraction shooter, but I mean, the highest points of a lot of shooters, like if you're talking Destiny or Warframe or those, is the raid concept, right? And then you've always got that Hunt Showdown try to do that kind of, right? You go in and you kill this big monster, and then you take its bits and you extract with it, right? While other people are trying to kill you. But when you're fighting that big thing in the middle, whatever it is, giant spider or whatever, that's a raid boss. There's mechanics, there's stuff you have to know, there's things you have to do, things like that. So that'll be interesting to kind of see. And I think Arc Raiders dabbles in that. I mean, I know there's definitely like, hey, if we all get together and kill this giant robot, we all get to leave with a ton of shit versus, if I the by myself I can't kill this thing. So I can kill you and take your stuff, but I can't kill that giant robot that gives us all a ton of shit, right? So I think that's kind of where they're going with High Guard, but the future is not looking good in my opinion. I mean, it's my kind of, but if you just want to jump in and jump out on some capture the flag, I think that ship has sailed, man.
That's really unfortunate. I deathmatch is where I live. Or if they want to do something a little bit more complicated, um, bring back something like the multiplayer component of Command and Conquer Renegade. I know I bring it up on like every episode, but that's still the best multiplayer
You
out
know,
there.
there's an interesting mode for Battlefield. I don't think I've heard anybody talk about. It's called Gauntlet, right? And what it is, it's almost like so you start with like let's say 10 squads, right? And then you kind of like play like almost like mini games, right? So hey, everybody gets a tank. Last tank destroyed wins, right? And then if you get your tank destroyed, you're one of the first two teams, you're eliminated. You don't go to the next round, right? And the
So it's
next one
like
is
team-based battle royale almost, but
yes,
not exactly.
but
It's
like
like it's like Fall Guys with Battlefield.
yeah, but then in bite-sized chunks, right? So, oh,
Yeah,
cool, we got the tank match. Oh shit, we got the align the the satellite where we're gonna get sniped at. Like, so that
that's a
gauntlet
really
mode,
cool
I
idea.
think, I think that's what I was gonna say. I think that's like the test case of like, hey, can I sell you on basically a battle royale, but not quite. But you're doing bite-sized shooting things in each of those modes, but you're
It's like
not. You're
Mario
not.
Party Battlefield. I'm
Yeah,
down.
you're
This sounds like it rules.
and you probably didn't know that existed, right? So like, but you're not selling me on like I'm not queuing to do capture the flag anymore. I might get capture the flag in that rotation, but I also might get, you know, team deathmatch. But if you're selling the person on that experience, hey, you're starting up with your squad. Maybe you know, hey, you're good at the tank driving. I'm good at this. I'm good at that. And you start to put something together. That might be kind of where the first step is into getting all of us old people out of out of capture the flag and team deathmatch.
Yeah, maybe. I feel like I don't want to become habituated to these modes though. I I want a specific experience and I want to go play that.
Yeah.
And it's going to be very hard to dislodge me
Oh,
from that
100%.
desire. So, I don't know. Not looking
But that
forward
was
to this future, but we'll see. Do you want to take a quick break before we get to our anticipated games?
yeah,
Or do you want to
sure.
keep... All right. We're going to take a quick break and you're going to hear some interstitial music, and then we're going to come back and talk about our most anticipated games of 2026. Welcome back to the Avocado Games Cast, the only gaming podcast that you're allowed to listen to in the shower. Um,
What's the one last week? I was editing. I just remembered it was like listen to it while you're like going to a hookup in your Uber driver.
yeah, with your coworker as
uh,
well. I was like,
you got
look,
some options.
look, okay, you can hook up with your coworker. That's fine. Just don't hook up with anyone in your chain of command. That's not
Yeah,
cool.
very important.
But like, hey, if you're both adults about it, go boff your coworker. Um, Yeah. Anyway, um, let's talk about the games we're looking forward to in 2026. For me, this is a more interesting year than 2025. There
I
are a
think so
lot.
too.
There are a
Yeah.
lot of games like in the pipeline that look pretty rad. Um, I'm gonna.
2025, I think, was like a hopeful year, and a lot of those games ended up being good. But I feel like this year there's more that I'm like, okay, this should be a good game.
I feel the same way. Like I'm having trouble putting together like a list of everything I'm anticipating because there's so many games coming out. I know I'm not going to be able to play anywhere
Right.
near all the ones I want to.
Yeah. Same thing.
Um, But let's start with what you're looking forward to. What's
Sure.
one that you
I'm gonna go in a little
are
deep cut first.
anticipating?
I'm gonna kind of like maybe like go more mainline, I guess. There's a reboot of Ghostmaster coming out. Ghostmaster might be one of my sneaky favorite games of all time. It's silly, it's fun, it's not doesn't take itself too seriously. You generally kind of haunt the house, and you get different ghosts, and you unlock different abilities for the ghosts, and you have to figure out like what's the best way to scare people out of the house. There is I don't know 100% if it's a remake or a remaster, but when it was announced, they were like, "Hey, we're gonna do some like Dead by Daylight tie-ins with this and stuff like that." So it looks like it's gonna kind of get a little bit more than just a straight up remake. But Ghostmaster is one of those games that just like lives in my memories of like one of my favorite games. So um, if I think it's called Ghostmaster Resurrection. So hopefully this hits that same itch, but I am extremely excited for this.
Huh. I
Yeah, you never heard of this,
completely just
right?
never heard of this,
Yeah,
but it
it's
sounds really. It sounds almost like I guess over not Overlord, like Dungeon Keeper esque.
kind of. So this is a game. Honestly, you might dig this. It's a very puzzly game, right? So you unlock a poltergeist, and his thing is he can make like sounds, and like he can like go into the TV and turn the TV on off, right? So then like you go to a police station, and your job is to scare everybody out of the police station, right? So maybe you put the poltergeist in an area where he's like making weird sounds inside the cell, and the cop keeps checking him out, and over again the cops like scare meter fills, and then he runs out of the police station. So your job is to
Oh,
basically scare every person out of whatever the scenario is, and you've got different types of ghosts to do it with, and some control water, some can make sparks. So like you have to kind of like figure out what scares the people the most, then deploy that ghost at a very specific place to do that level or that type of scare.
okay.
um
I'm looking at screenshots right now, and I swear this is a compliment. This looks like cheesy Halloween
Yeah,
Sims.
exactly, exactly, and that's one of the reasons, like, the old game still so like, holds up so well is because it looks like what you're playing. They've got, like, that over the top narrator that kind of is like, "No one expected this house to be haunted, but sure enough, the ghost came out tonight in the" whatever, like, it's very silly. It knows it's a silly game. It's not going for, like, over the top scares or anything like that, but god, I love this game. I love it. I'm excited for a remake, whatever it ends up being. The fact that they're going to get an Elm Street and an Until Dawn level, I think is going to be kind of cool. But yeah, this is a game that if you told me in a million years this was going to remake, I don't know that I would have believed it. But it looks like it's
It's
going to
in
be
early
UE5
access
too.
right now.
Oh, is
Yeah,
it? Okay. I
yeah.
don't fuck with early access, but yeah. So
It came out in early access on 30th October of last year, which is an appropriate date.
yep, there you go.
Um, all right. This looks really neat. I guess the full release is coming out this year.
Hmm.
And also currently 30% off,
Oh, there you
offer
go.
on 2nd February. So if you want to pick it up for $18.19 Canadian, you can do that. Um, Now, speaking of ghosts and haunting, one game that I
Yeah.
think we're both looking forward to, there are no ghosts at the Grand. Um, I don't. really fully understand what this game
Me
is.
either.
It looks like a mixture between like a walking sim, a traversal game, a puzzle game, a power wash simulator.
Stray.
Uh, there seems to be like a bit of like Stray, some hotel management, and also it's a musical. This looks like a mess, but in the best kind of way.
Yeah, this
I'm
game's either gonna
just
be,
super curious.
like, an all-time great or, like, what the fuck? Like, there I don't think there's much of a middle point for this one. It looks cool. The only thing that kinda gets me a little worried is the word "cozy" gets thrown around a lot around it. I don't know. I do like my games to have a point to them, but, yeah, I am interested in it.
Oh, there's a demo out.
Oh, see?
Huh.
We're learning a lot today. I just write
Oh.
these things down and then seriously, I don't keep up with early access or demos. Like I want to play the game when I play the game almost. Like I'm very like don't spoil it for me with teasers, you know?
Okay. This apparently it's also like a small open world, like Yakuza sized.
Ah.
Huh. This just looks like everything weird thrown in a blender. You're also driving on a motorcycle at some point in first person. I have no idea what's going on here. I just want to play it. Let's see what happens. It looks really gorgeous. Uh I'm gonna go check a little bit more of this out. What else are you looking forward
I
to?
we mentioned earlier, but the that 007 game, I'm
Oh
very
yeah.
excited for this one. It looks like it's kinda maybe splitting the difference a little bit between, like, kinda classic James Bond and, new sad sack James Bond. I'm okay with that. I do want crazy gadgets. I do want stuff like that. I don't want it to be so serious, I guess. But Hitman and IO being involved, I think, really raised this game's profile for me because they can kind of do some of that serious stuff with some of that goofy stuff. I think people don't ever really talk about how funny Hitman can be sometimes, and it really can be. I'm really excited for this one.
Yeah, they're one of the things that Hitman 3 does so well is it is the most serious of the games in the Hitman trilogy in the World of Assassination trilogy. But there's also just a lot of really goofy moments, like
Yeah.
drowning people in a vat of fermenting grapes, which is just always very funny. Um, like they know how to kind of mix that silly and serious. They know how to
Yeah.
do that winking kind of tone, and they also know how to make great immersive sim gameplay.
Which has been
So
one of my knocks on Larian, who because I don't think maybe in Baldur's Gate 3, but especially in the original Divinities, they didn't seem able to, like, know when and not to deploy the humor, whereas I think that Hitman does, so
it's all very because it's very subtle for most
yeah.
part. Like, okay, I'm not going to say that again. Throwing people in a vat full of fermenting grapes is subtle necessarily, but it just it, it lets that be the punchline. You
Yeah.
don't hear some quip about, oh, looks like he won't have anything to whine about now. Ha ha ha. Right? They just they let the funny situations just kind of speak for themselves and let
Yeah.
the game generate its own humor.
Like, even that episode where, like, you're a clown, like, going around doing Hitman shit, but dressed as a clown, like, it's just the juxtaposition is funny, but it doesn't really like make it up like, wow, this is look how funny this is. It doesn't really kind of like, you know, like rub your face in it.
Absolutely. I think they can get the tone right.
Hmm.
I think they can get the set pieces right. I'm still a little uh, nervous or apprehensive about Lenny Kravitz being the main
Yeah.
villain.
I
I
don't know
don't
about that one
think he's
either.
kind of
When he
phoning
came
it
on stage,
in.
yeah.
Um,
Um, I think the thing too is like James Bond is in a weird spot. I think maybe our generation and our parents' generation, our kids' generation have very different views on what James Bond is or who James Bond is or what a James Bond adventure should have. Does that make sense? Like my parents are like Sean
yes.
Connery. Like they want, all the the crazy stuff, the girls, the all that kind of stuff. I think I'm
Yeah,
kind of split. My James Bond is Pierce Brosnan, where there definitely was a lot of that, but also it took itself a little more seriously. There was still gadgets, there was still stuff, but generally speaking, it wasn't anywhere near as serious as the Daniel Craig James Bond, which to me I almost find unbearable, honestly. But
it's
you
way
know,
too. I mean, I've only seen the Craig Bonds.
yeah,
I've never even gone back and watched Brosnan or. or Lazenby or Moore or any of them, right? Um, and they're like deathly serious in a way that is just not very entertaining.
It wouldn't make a good video game is the other thing. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like I don't, press X to brood isn't something I want in a video game, right? Like you've got to get from action scene to action scene with, maybe a cutscene here or there, but you don't have to do an absolute a ton of like, mood building in a video game.
yeah, or at least not in a Bond game, right?
Right.
Like, give me an angsty like queer visual novel if that's what you want me
Yeah.
to play, and I'll eat that up. But I don't want that in Bond,
Right.
right?
Right.
In Bond, I want action, I want cool gadgets, and there's like a middle ground between like the Craig Bonds or the Brosnan Bonds and like the old ones with characters like Pussy Galore, like you know you can find a little bit more of a serious tone than that, but you don't have to make it like brooding and sad or have Bond's first love get murdered or anything like that. Just
Yeah, I agree.
give me something cool. Give me something with some of the same immersive sim type gameplay as Hitman. Obviously, it's going to feel a little different because Bond is not Agent 47. I want it to feel different, but I still want that same sort of freedom of choosing how I want to make it through a situation. So yeah, really excited for that.
I agree.
Another big budget game I'm excited for, and maybe this makes me weird. I think Pragmata looks really cool.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the third person shooter from Capcom that also has a puzzle component. So you're like in real time playing a hacking puzzle where you're weakening droids while also shooting them. Um, it looks like it's going to be extremely confusing, but also really neat. So, looking forward to that. It's been kind of delayed and delayed again and again. So, hopefully, they've taken the time to get this one right. Um, what else are you looking forward to?
Ace Combat, Wings of Thief? I'm not
Thief?
sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Wings of Thief, I think.
Okay, Ace Combat. When this was announced, I was about as excited as you possibly can be. It is a very dumb video game series, but there's nothing else like it. It's like they let the writers of Kingdom Hearts, but they made him watch Top Gun and then make a video game about that. I love its silliness. The combat itself, the plane flying, I think is the exact perfect mix between simulation and arcade that I want in a video game. I don't care that I have 80 missiles. I don't care. It's still fun. They always seem to like one up themselves with kind of like memorable missions and things that happen during those missions. And I really enjoy the play style of like trying to get things perfect so that certain events happen in the mission that kind of change what you're doing. Um, Not a series for everybody. I think some people can't get past that silliness, but I think if you can, it becomes really enjoyable.
Huh, I am looking forward to it. It looks like, or at least I'm looking forward to people's reactions to it
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I love that kind of mixture of like goofy, almost JRPG-ish sensibility
Hmm.
with different type of gameplay. It doesn't need to be like your standard action or turn-based combat. You can like insert those kinds of stories into combat sims and other genres. So really looking forward to how people take to it. Speaking of stupid storytelling, I'm
Yeah,
looking forward to Romeo is a Dead Man,
yeah.
Suda51's new game. Um,
It'll be interesting, at least.
Yeah, it's coming out in I think next month. It looks really bonkers. Like most Suda51 games, it's steeped in a just adoration of the medium. So a lot of references, but references that are built in ways that feel um, like of a piece with what the game is trying to do, not just references for reference's sake. Um, Suda51 games often have really exciting and visceral hack and slash combat. So, really looking forward to it. I'm going to see what results. Um, it might be bad, might be okay. Who knows? What else are you looking forward to?
Fable, maybe more so after the recent Xbox reveal. I think that Playground has got the right mix of ambition and what Fable is that I think even Peter Molyneux missed by the end of Fable 3. Like, what is Fable, right? Um, it's that kind of fun combat. It's kind of silly. It's tongue in cheek, but it's not a hardcore fantasy kingdom builder like 3 was trying to do, right? Um, I think that Fable is a series that Microsoft or basically anybody should at least keep alive. It's an interesting concept. I like the world. I don't like that the morality system, especially in 2, felt really heavy-handed. But when I hear stuff like you can buy every house and every tavern in the world, and what you do kind of matters in the game world and stuff like that. I think that's the core of the Fable experience. Especially like it seems like the NPCs got a lot of love in this one, so that they all kind of feel like they're part of the world. I love that kind of shit. That makes me feel more immersed than lots of other little things.
One thing I've been hearing people talk about, I haven't had a chance to watch the developer direct yet, is apparently this game will feature office style cutaway gags.
Yeah, yeah. Which
Which
makes sense
like
in British humor, right? Like it's very British humory to me, right?
exactly. Like,
Yeah.
some people are saying this is a bad thing. I think that's a good thing.
No.
Like, I
Yeah.
think it's good to have. I mean, I don't think it works for every game, but I think it works for something with the tone of Fable. I
Yeah.
think having Richard Ayoade just like come in there and say some bullshit is exactly what I want from Fable.
Yeah, because a
So
lot of the
yeah,
older ones that kind of relied on the narrator to do that for you, to kind of like give you that humor, right? But I think it's just as funny if you cut to the camera to say it as it is to have a narrator overdub it. It's both, kind of the same idea, right?
exactly. And like, I think cutaway gags are underused in video games. I think sometimes they're deployed like with like ruthless efficiency. There's that one cutaway gag in Dragon Age Inquisition with I think it's a sheep or the goat that like gets kicked out of the tower.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah,
the funniest shit because it's
yeah,
the only cutaway gag in the game. And like if you know how to deploy it, it's so effective.
yeah,
So if they're judicious with their usage, I think this is a really neat idea.
yeah. I agree.
So Fable, I didn't put it on my list, but maybe I am looking forward to it since we know it's coming out
Yeah,
this
well,
year.
you said you haven't watched that Xbox reveal yet, right?
I haven't had the time yet because
Yeah,
I
I
know
think when you,
they also revealed Kiln,
yep,
which we knew was coming. Like
yeah.
that has
I
been
think
coming
when you
for a
have a
while.
chance to watch it, I think that your interest is going to go up quite a bit. Honestly, I was kind of like on the fence, but because I think Fable is a lot of can you figure out that tone, right? And I think they did. So I'm maybe more excited than even if it was like a complete like remake or whatever.
Yeah, the one thing I'll be looking for is the gameplay interesting? Like, what
Yeah,
does the combat loop look like? Is this something where I like as much as we talk about like the narrative components of the game being like the really deep thing and make sure the tone is right, it also has to be compelling to interact with. Like I need a good combat loop. I need the economy and the loot of the game to make sense. I need like all these components fitting together to make
right.
a really good meaningful RPG. And if all those components are there, like they nothing has to be best in class. Everything just has to work well together. And if they can reach that goal, then I think this is going to be something really worthwhile.
Yeah.
Um, Another thing I'm looking forward to, Mario Tennis Fever, which is coming out next
Ah,
month.
yeah, yeah. I
So,
actually might get this one. Yeah, this looks cool.
um, yeah, it's for as me who likes tennis, and watched a lot of tennis and loved Mario Tennis Aces. I'm down for another Mario Tennis game, and this one
Yeah,
seems to have an even beefier campaign than the last one. I liked the Mario Tennis Aces campaign, but I felt it wasn't flexible enough. Like there's progression, but you don't choose the progression. It just gives you more stats as you go. I'm hoping for something that's a little more customizable this time. I don't like the baby characters. I'm sorry. I don't like seeing Daisy with a
yeah.
pacifier in her
Baby
mouth and
days.
a
Yeah,
diaper. I'm sorry.
yeah.
That's weird. It's really weird, especially when they've made Daisy like a thirst trap in
Yeah,
Mario
and
Kart
then now they're
World.
making her a
And then
baby,
you've
yeah,
got and then you've got baby Daisy alongside. I'm just like,
sending a
this
very
is a little
interesting
uncomfortable,
message, yeah.
Nintendo. Like don't like thought up Daisy and then like
Yeah,
have the baby next to her. That's weird. But you know what? I'm down for anything that has like messed up tennis in it. I like
Yeah.
messed up versions of sports. Like messed up golf is one of my favorite genres. Messed up tennis is like my second favorite genre. So, um, yeah, I think if they keep the same like core gameplay as Aces, which really changed the core gameplay of the series, if they keep more or less what that is and beef up the single player campaign, then they'll have a winner on their hands.
Yeah.
What else are you looking forward to?
So maybe in like a negative light, I'm looking to see what happens with this. The Gothic remake. Um,
Oh, okay,
I
yeah.
want this to fail. I don't like the idea, the concept behind this, the just throw it all into an AI blender and maybe an RPG comes out. I don't know.
They're trying to make an AI generated Gothic remake?
Yes, yes. If you
What the
haven't, yeah,
fuck?
if you haven't heard about
And
this,
like
this one is
especially after Piranha Bytes having shut down.
yes.
It was
So
Piranha Bytes that did Gothic, right?
yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
So they made this new studio just to remake this, right? And then there's some type of AI. I don't want to call it a director because that kind of like minimizes it, but it's going to use like motion capture recordings and then like kind of like twist the story to how you play it and when things happen. And then it's going to use generative AI to kind of like fill in the gaps of the story. The faces are all AI. I think most of the lines are AI. They're very proud of this. And I, I don't know. I
Oh,
want I
fuck this game already.
yeah,
Fuck it.
okay.
Fuck it.
That's where I'm at with this. I don't like the idea that you could take something as, like an RPG that's so important where the story, the writing, all that kind of stuff, just just feed it into an AI and shit out a game. There's something about this that just bothers me at a really weird level. I
It's
mean,
like
I'm far
okay.
from an RPG purist. You can give me a JRPG, you can give me a CRPG. I'm fine with it, but this idea to me is kind of gross.
I feel like okay. I'm not someone who's supportive of Gen AI by any
Hmm.
means. I would say I'm more tolerant of it in something like Where Winds Meet, where it's kind of baked into the fundamental design of the game, like
Hmm.
the NPC interactions. Sure, but when you're taking something that was previously handmade,
Yeah,
that did not feel the need to incorporate kind of this automatically generated stuff, and you're trying to fill in the gaps and recreate it with a large language model, I
yeah,
think you've just completely fucking missed the point
right,
of like what exactly this game was. You cannot recreate it with a generative AI facsimile. You have to kind of rebuild it by hand. You will never match what it was. And like what they say they're kind of using AI to fill in the gaps.
right.
Like that spackle was handmade.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
made with
exactly.
purpose and intentionality. Spackle isn't just like the tossed off crap that goes into a game just to like get players from point A to point B. It is a fundamental part of the design of the game.
Yeah, and so, like, they're using the AI to, like, fill in the gaps on, like, the player animation, like, how he walks, how he moves, stuff like that, so it's kinda this weird mesh of just, like, crap thrown together, right? And they've been really open about, "Yeah, we're using AI for this, we're explaining plot holes with AI, we're doing this, we're doing that, the
Explaining
language is
plot
going
holes
through
with
the
it.
AI."
What the
Yeah, there's
fuck?
a lot of
That's
weird
something
stuff,
Gen
so
AI is so bad at, though.
yeah.
Like extremely bad,
And their
right?
big thing though was like they were pushing like deep learning AI for like the faces and all this other kind of stuff. It sounds like a mess. And I know Gothic is maybe more of a German slash whatever world. It was bigger in other countries than the U.S. obviously,
Yeah.
right? But I'm really curious to see if the AI sentiment there is similar to how it is I think here, where I don't want you to fill in the gaps of my game with a bunch of AI bullshit, you know? This is kind of one of those things that I think that, you know, yeah. I think that the remake is I think that what they were kind of trying to do was hype up the tech that was going into remaking it, but they went so far into the AI space of it that the more I heard about it, the more I was like, why is this an AI thing? But I guess we'll find out.
I mean, there already is deep learning that's used to do things like clean up animation. Like
Yeah.
it's not like this tech is alien to game development, but then they're talking about applying like large language models to stuff like filling in plot holes,
Yeah.
that's just not stuff that Gen AI is good at.
Yeah.
Because generative AI does not have a semantic understanding of the world. It's a predictive text generator. It
Yeah.
can't it has no mechanism for filling in
Now,
a plot hole.
one of the things about AI and how it's been used and stuff like that lately is they might just be talking about regular ass AI. You know what I mean? But like they're trying to hype it as like we use this AI to blah blah blah, right? Who knows? But I don't like the way they've been talking about how they're like they basically called like AI like the heart of this game according to Wikipedia. That is weird to me. You know what I mean? Like the heart of your game should probably be writing. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that, right? But yeah, I think there's kind of like there's like a where they basically kind of like took like pictures of the old NPCs and then the remake, they used AI to kind of like fill in the gaps about like what that player would look like in AI, right? And it's really doing that like so you have a 20-year-old game and like the characters all like like polygoned, right? And then they use AI to kind of like this is what this character will look like now. It's weird to me, man. Like that's something an animator should do, right? Like I don't know. I guess we'll find out how it's kind of received, but maybe this is just one of those things where it's just like, hey, we're so happy that this game's getting made, and whatever, we don't care. But I am curious to see this.
Yeah, but people should care, right? Like
Yeah,
if they're going through the trouble of rebuilding this game, then like you can't just toss off this shit, right?
yeah, yeah,
You have to care about what the end result is.
yeah.
Um, so that's not something we're looking forward to. I am looking forward to, however, Earth Must Die. Uh,
Yeah.
have you seen this, like the animation of this thing?
Yes, yeah,
Looks very Saturday morning cartoon.
yeah.
So it's the 2D point and click from, I believe it's from Size 5 Games. So
This
that's
is
just
it's almost Cupheadian to me. You know what I mean? But like kind of like the level of detail to getting the animation right. But to me, looking like I don't know the exact era, but like let's say like early 2000s cartoon instead of 1930s, I think is insane. It looks so good.
it reminds me like similarly of how Dispatch looked like a cartoon while you were
Yeah,
playing it.
yeah.
Um,
Hopefully it's not
except for this is more
a
like 2D
letdown.
puppet instead of like 3D cell shaded,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it looks so good.
yeah.
Um, and it's Size 5, same folks who made games like Lair of the Clockwork God and
Oh yeah, and this comes
uh,
out tomorrow for when we're recording it, or 2 days, I think.
yeah, in 2 days. So yeah, I think it's Dan Marshall and Ben. I forget the last name, but Ben occasionally posts on the Avocado as Time Gentleman. So uh, so we do have to disclose that, but I'd
Oh
be
yeah.
looking forward to this game regardless. So yeah, uh,
Um, Next one
yeah.
for me, I think you had this one as well, is Wolverine. The much delayed, maybe it will, maybe it won't come out game, Wolverine.
I do not have that because I don't own a PS5.
Oh, okay, okay.
But
Honestly, I'm interested in this in that I assume by the time it comes to PC, it'll be fixed, right? But like most of the kind of like launches, but
oh, it'll eventually
um,
come to PC. I'm looking forward to the eventual Yote release on PC.
sure.
So yeah.
I think this is going to be a weird one to handle tone wise because Spider-Man and Wolverine are very different
Oh
characters,
yeah.
right? And then this game also has the interesting backstory of there was a gigantic ransomware attack, like dead center of the production of this game, right? And I don't know what happened, but they released like a whole bunch of the game, right? This end of 2023, I think. Do
I
you
think it
remember
was more
this?
recent than that, but
Oh,
yeah.
okay. But yeah, I mean, like, so I don't know what you do about that, but I'm really curious to see where this game comes out at. Because I know they're saying late 2026. If this does actually see the light of day, I'm curious because I think a lot of the story beats that were leaked in the hack were kind of like responded to a little negatively. But yeah, Wolverine stabs people with with giant metal spikes, right? He's not
It's
tying
going to be
people
very
up and
bloody.
making
Yeah.
quips. Yeah, where are you gonna go with this tone, you know? So I'm curious.
Like, I do want it to be serious and I do want it to be violent. I don't
Mhm.
know if it needs ultra violence, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
but right on that line, right? I mean, it's got to
Yeah.
be more violent than Spider-Man,
Oh,
and it doesn't
absolutely.
and it doesn't get the levity of like a Deadpool game, right? So, Wolverine stabbing people because they need stabbing. So, how are you going to handle that? In kind of like a what like Spider-Man's kind of a jokey series. I mean, I've played a few of them. They're not very like dark in tone. You're gonna have to figure that out really quick. And I don't know. I'm this one's like a interested in, I guess I would
Yeah.
say.
Tone f like, what's the tone of most Insomniac games, right? What else do they do? Ratchet& and Clank, they
Yeah.
did Sunset Overdrive. Like, they're known for games that are a little bit jokier in tone.
Yeah.
And it's not like Spider-Man didn't have serious bits or serious things to say, it's just there was levity throughout, and I don't know what you do with a game where you can't really fall back on that levity. But I'm guessing they do have talented writers there who can work through this. We'll see what they come up with.
Yeah, yeah, I'm interested. I'll put it that way. Wolverine's an interesting character because he is not very silly at all, ever. I mean, there's moments maybe, but
Yeah, he's
90%
like
of the
the
time.
only rude Canadian.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And he wants to go stab people, and you got to let him do that because otherwise people are going to be like, "This isn't a Wolverine game." So interested to see.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of stabbing people, I'm looking forward to Showa American Story. Um, so I think this is the game that only Quinley and I are really looking
I've never
forward
even
to.
heard of this. Yeah.
This is the crazy. Okay, the premise of this is that parts of the United States, specifically Texas, were sold to a Japanese consortium. So now there's like Japanese culture like all over America, like all mishmashed together. And also there's a zombie outbreak, and you play as a young Japanese woman running around in an open world killing zombies. Um, it's absolutely ridiculous. And by the way, this is made by a Chinese studio, led by developers who have never been to either Japan or the United
Yeah.
States.
I love this kind of shit, man. I love it. I wish there was easier ways to do this and be like, hey, I don't have no idea what's going on in Finland, so I'm just gonna make a video game about Finland, and you know what I mean. This is what I think about Finland. You can't really have that kind of experience many other ways, you know.
Yeah, like it's almost like they're because with a lot of games, the developers will like go on site and do site visits and get a lot of reference materials. They'll like tour cities, they'll take oodles and oodles of photos, they'll meet with locals. Um, and like they'll get so much reference information. For this, they're just like, yeah, I watched a bunch of anime and a bunch
Yeah,
of Japanese serials, and then I've watched a bunch of American TV. I'm gonna piece it together and
I'll
see what
figure it
happens.
out. Yeah,
So I think it's gonna be very, very funny.
yeah.
Um, and just as proof that these people know what they're doing, in one of the trailers, there's a shot of uh, a specific pool in Japan. Um, that pool is known as quote unquote that pool because it used to be rented out for
Mm.
filming uh, porn.
Yeah.
And it's very famous. So anyone who sees that pool and knows Japanese pornography recognizes it. So yeah, they know what they're doing.
It's like the
They
casting
know.
couch of Japan. They're like, "Oh, a
Oh yeah.
pool."
I so also the other funny thing about the trailers is that they've all blurred the face of the main character. And I suspect it's probably because they're trying to get the likeness rights for some like gravure bikini model from
Mm.
Japan
Yeah.
as the main character. That would be my guess. They haven't explained why they're blurring her face. But we'll see.
Okay.
Anyway, this is going to be bonkers. This is going to be extremely stupid, and bonkers and extremely stupid is exactly my brand.
No,
So
that's a fun spot to be, yeah.
I'm really looking forward to it. What else is on your list?
Okay, The Sinking City 2.
Oh
I
yeah,
really enjoyed The Sinking City 1, even though it had, like, this insane, like, release, unreleased, remaster. Like it had the weirdest thing going on. But
Oh yeah,
this
fuck
this was
Nacon.
yeah, exactly. This is the first time. Now, this is by the guys who used to do the Sherlock Holmes stuff, or maybe still do, right?
Yeah,
Um,
Frogwares. Yeah.
yes, it felt like they figured out the balance of horror and open world survival in a way that I thought might have been a little bit better than Resident Evil games. And I know that's controversial, right? But this was the first time I felt really immersed into like a horror world, and where like the stuff that I was doing and solving puzzles were less about like opening the door so that I can get past the zombies, and more like, let me know more about the world and why things are happening, and like the order of things, and like all that kind of breakdown. I thought felt more natural for a puzzle system in a survival horror game than just being like, quick, use this so you can get the key code that lets you get past the door. Like, no, like figure this out so you can figure out why this event happened and who this person is and whether or not he's telling you the truth. Feels so much smarter. And just having like people you can talk to in an open world survival game, I think adds a lot to it, right? Because not everybody's kind of pushing you along for all the right reasons. So I'm really interested in where this goes. I thought the Sinking City one was a fantastic game that I think maybe kind of got maybe lost in some of the shuffle of the fact that it like was released, unreleased, re-released, new version came out. It was insane. Um, so yeah, I think the what happened, the publisher gave like a DMCA takedown or like
It
was it
was
the
it
other
was
way
a
around?
wild legal dispute between
Yeah.
Frogwares and Nacon. It was
Yeah.
Nacon, right? If it wasn't
Yeah, it was
Nacon, I'm
Nikon for
sorry I
sure.
said fuck Nacon.
Yeah, I just don't remember the order of things happening, but it was like one of these where it's like, "Hey, that game we released, we're delisting it." It's like, well, there you go. That's it. I don't think that's ever happened before. DMCA takedown on basically the game that you made, but very interested. But yeah, I think this would be an interesting game to kind of follow up. I know it got so reviews, and I think a lot of that was because I don't want to get too bad on some of these reviews, but I think they might have thought that this was like a shooty game. And because I noticed that like it was kind of described more in like action adventure terms. When I played it more of like a survival horror game, and that's what made me enjoy it a lot more. I think
Yeah, I mean, it is a lot more adventure than it is action, right? It is
that's
more,
what I
much more
would
like
say. Yeah,
exploring, like solving the mysteries, right?
yeah.
By the way, I did check. It was Nacon,
Yep, there
so
you go. I
I
figured.
I I stand behind my fuck Nacon from earlier.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, all right, Sinking City 2. Speaking of sequels, Golf with Your Friends 2. That's coming out this
Ah,
year.
yeah, this is one of your favorite games. Yeah.
Yeah, Golf with Your Friends. I'm just checking how much I have, how many hours I currently have in it on Steam. It's my third most played game on Steam with 128.7 hours. So my buddies and I have dumped a lot of hours into Golf with Your Friends. We're really looking forward to a sequel. I think we're gonna have a good time with it.
Yeah.
Uh, it'll hopefully be just as janky and have just as much custom content as the first one. What else is on your list?
Okay. Squadron 42 is supposed to come out this year. So
Oh yeah,
I could put
that's
that.
happening.
Yeah, yeah. I can't wait to see what Squadron 42 that
So this has
stars
got Mark Hamill. Who else is in it?
Gary Oldman, Mark Hamill, Gillian Anderson, Mark Strong, Liam Cunningham, Andy Serkis, John Rhys Davies, Jack Houston, Eleanor Tomlinson, Harry Treadway, Sophie Wu, Damson Idris, Eric Wareheim, Rona Mitra, Henry Cavill, and Ben Mendelsohn. Surely.
What? Eric Wareheim's in this?
Yeah,
What? Why? Like, look, Eric Wareheim's a great actor,
yeah,
but
yeah.
he's like
Hilarious.
a deadpan comedian. What is he doing in this?
I think most people forgot that this game was supposed to release this year. Just with all the other shit that goes on. Uh this game better be fucking amazing if it comes out at all, right? Or am I nuts? This might be a legitimate argument for a 4A game, right?
Yeah, I mean,
I think the
it's the
Kickstarter,
single player component of Star Citizen, right? So
yes, and
it
Star
better
Citizen
be
is has
for AAA.
received I'd have to look at what it is. It's at least $1 billion for its development now, right? So
Yeah, I can look it up for the link dump. Uh,
theoretically, this is a $1 billion game with A-list stars attached to it. What the fuck? How have we not been talking about this game nonstop for the past like 6 months? Probably because everybody's used to what the hell happens with Star Citizen at this point, right?
Also, the
Um,
last time we got a bunch of celebrities in a game, it was crime boss Rock A City, and
yeah,
that didn't turn out so hot.
I would like to remind you that Squadron 42 missed its 2016 release. Sure. I'm
Yeah,
sure this game is ready to come out in 2026 with its millions and millions and millions in crowdfunding any day now.
and it's
But
not even the entirety of Star Citizen.
I hey,
It's a
look,
tiny
I look
component
forward
of
to
it.
playing Star Citizen Squadron 42 this year, and I think we all should. I think we all absolutely should look
Oh,
forward
I
to.
look, if it's at a reasonable price and it runs on my PC, I'm down. I'm gonna see what I want to play as Eric Wareheim shooting
Yeah.
people in space. That sounds awesome.
Like, hopefully it's like, Wing Commander and, like, you can just play as, your Milk Run or whatever his cool name's gonna be, your Eric Wareheim just flying through space, killing Kilrathi.
You're calling
Like,
his character Milk Run? That's
yeah.
incredible.
No, no,
But
I
his
made that
character's
up, but,
Eric Wareheim.
uh,
No, it
I
should be
made that
though.
up,
That
but
is
if they
his
do,
Eric
they
Wareheim character name.
they could have that one for free. But, like,
Yeah,
him just, like, looking at the camera every now and being like, "Wow, that's a big cat." And just kinda, like, deadpanning away. Just
it's
I
gonna be an incredible game.
I think
Isn't it more like an on the ground first person shooter though, or
It's
does it also
supposed to be a
have
little bit of everything. I think the idea behind it was you're a pilot that transition so, like, you fly, you land, you do all this kind of stuff, but, uh, they said that this game is 40 hours in length and is still on track for a 2026 release date, fully
40
playable,
hours?
40 hours.
Why didn't they do like a tight 25?
Uh,
Like 25 isn't even tight. Like a tight 15 is a good single
40
player
hours of
like
space combat
campaign life.
is it's gonna be mind-numbingly boring. I gotta at least hope that, like, at least 10% of that is just cutscenes, right? Um, so this
Yeah,
was
like I want them to Kojima this, you
yeah,
know.
um, but so Star Citizen, Roberts described in 2025 as the year of playability for the space sim. It's supposedly still on track for a full release in 27 or 28, according to him. Um, 1 or 2 years after the release of Squadron 42. So this is supposed to get us hyped for Star Citizen after the game has raised $1 billion. Uh, I'm holding my breath, man. I can't wait to play Squadron 42. I'm sure it's going to be everything I've dreamed of when you put uh the only demo that they showed is a first person shooter segment. But yeah, we'll see.
All right, Squad 402. I'm actually super down for this. Maybe it actually comes out and it silences the haters.
Like with that much money though, right? This is game of the year or bust. Wouldn't you say? Like, I mean, even like a so-so release is almost a disaster for a game that's raised this much money. But obviously it's sunk cost fallacy for everybody who's still into Star Citizen, right? They'll keep
Yeah.
throwing money at it forever. But I mean, I feel like when got this many triple A, devs and this many names into a game, if it comes out and it's not setting the world on fire, it's kind of a failure.
Oh, absolutely. It's if it's anything but like it doesn't even have to win game of the year. It has to sell extremely well and it has to be well
Yeah,
received.
and it has to at least be in that conversation.
Oh yeah, like it at least has to be like a couple of critics have to be putting this on their year-end top tens. Otherwise, it's not. It's not reaching what it needs to reach.
Nope.
Um, Speaking of a game that I think will make my year-end top 10,
Uh-oh.
At Fate's End.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is a new game from the folks who made Spiritfarer, Thunder Lotus, and it's a 2D action platformer that also has a component of like I guess familial strife or like family conflict. So you're kind of determining whether to make up with or combat your
Your
siblings and your
sister,
family members,
right?
yeah,
Yeah,
your
yeah.
sisters, or and your other siblings, as you're also like journeying through a world where you're fighting monsters and platforming in 2D, and the animation looks just
Yeah.
incredible. It looks almost hand drawn.
That's why I
It's
remember this one
amazing.
was again, the animation is insane. And I thought it was kind of an interesting twist that like you're basically like sword fighting your family to prove who was right about family arguments. I think that everybody can kind of relate to that a little bit, but it looked very cool.
Yeah, it looks incredible. Also, I love the aesthetic. I love kind of that limited color palette and how
You know,
they're picking those like red accent color. It
yeah,
just looks like they're using the red accents in the right places to make it like almost accentuate the conflict. Super
I was
neat
gonna
use of
say
color.
this and like not as an insult. This looks like a really well done like flash game. Do you know what I mean? Like it knows exactly where to put its art style,
Yes.
and not like waste a bunch of like shit that you're not paying attention to. It's putting the highlights where you need to look at, like for like the action scenes and stuff. So like not as a knock, there was definitely good flash games in the past, right? But like give me a
Yeah, I know
general
what you mean.
setting in the
It's like
idea, but the,
a
go ahead.
judicious use of artistic resources.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And everything I've seen looks so cool with it. So I can't wait to see what this one looks like when it comes out.
Yeah, I think it's gonna end up like it's my current prediction for game of the year for me. So
Okay,
I'm
I'll
really
give you
excited.
mine then next.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Warhammer 40K Dawn of War 4.
They're
This is when
coming
they get
out
it
with
right.
they're coming out with 3 Warhammer 40K games next year, and this is
Oh,
one of
yeah.
them.
I mean, that might be a down year for Warhammer 40K, to be honest with you. Like, they pump these games out, right? So I know it's this one. I know it's Mechanicus, I think, is getting a new one. And I think Bolt
That's the
Gun.
tactics one, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's more of like your XCOM. But this
And
one
then
is your
Bolt Gun 2, yeah.
yeah, and that's like your fun boomer
Boomer
shooter.
shooter.
Yep. But this one looks, man, I think they've learned every so Relic to me got a little stale in a lot of ways with what they were doing, just with RTSs in general, not just Dawn of War, but also kind of Company Heroes, right? I think they fell a little bit in love too much with the way they do the economy, right? And I don't think their economy that makes sense in Company of Heroes makes sense in Dawn of War, right? So you're always like in if you haven't played much Company Heroes, you're fighting over like specific points that give you a specific resource that allows you to do specific things. That doesn't feel right in Dawn of War because I don't know that humans need the same materials that orcs need, if that makes sense, right? And like you tend to get most of your stuff off map anyway, right? So I don't know, but this one seems like they've kind of figured it out that like what makes it cool is stuff coming from space down to Earth. And I like that stuff about Warhammer. I've always loved ODST. Um, Weird aside, I know the guy who like kind of like came up with the concept of ODST. I used to go to his comic book shop all the time. Nicest dude I ever met. So good for him. Eric Troutman, if you're ever in Olympia, Washington, go to his comic book store if it's still there. I haven't lived there in 20 years, so but uh I like what I've been seeing where you're reinforcing your positions by dropping shit from space right into the battle. That is a very cool RTS mechanic to me. I loved Iron Harvest. It's the game that got me banned from Destiny. Weirdly, I love Iron Harvest, and that's by those guys. They put a lot of love into that game, and they told a really cool story. And I can't wait to see what this one looks like.
Yeah, it seems like I know Relic has had like that those missteps with especially Company of Heroes 3,
Mhm.
but from my understanding, the Dawn of War games have generally been well received.
One and
So,
two were. Three was a disaster. 3 was
okay,
yeah, 3
I
was
didn't know that.
a gigantically like, among the RTS community, was hated. So it's because, you really ended up kind of, like, playing for the points rather than, like, what an RTS usually would be. Where, like, yeah, I can expand, but also I can basically stick into my base and pump out units and do those sort of things. But I want to say that the changes that they made between 2 and 3, at least from what I saw, was kind of like disastrous, like as far as its reception in like the RTS community.
That's a real shame.
Yeah.
So, speaking of sequels that we're excited for, Road to Empress 1 was my game of the year in 2025, and Road to Empress 2 is set to come out this year. Um, so that is an FMV game set in a palace in 7th century China. Um, it had a lot of neck stabbing and poisoning and other really juicy, dramatic goodness. It's really over the top. It's very funny, but also very heartfelt. Um, the first one ends on a cliffhanger. The second one kind of follows one of two paths. One where you side with one of the love interests, the other where you side with the other love interest. So really looking forward to seeing what Road to Empress 2 has to offer. It was so much fun to play the first one last year, and the second, like we know all the scenes have been filmed for the second one, so should be coming soon. Um, what else are you looking forward to?
Sure, I am looking forward to Titan Quest 2. Now, again, this is one that's out in early access, but I try not to like get sucked into early access, right? Titan Quest 1, I think, did most of what Diablo did better, which I think is kind of a weird spot to be in, but I like the grounding it in mythology. I like that it didn't have to be so, you know, over the top, gloomy, devil stuff. But I love Titan Quest 2. What I really liked about it was kind of how you would allow to the player to like on the fly change masteries and stuff like that, and then reward them for that. Kind of like smart gameplay, I thought, rather than locking in them into stuff. Um, the guys that made this made Spellforce 3, which I think is like maybe the most underrated series in video games. I really believe that. Spellforce games are amazing, and no one talks about them. So I really hope that with kind of the maybe the memory behind um Titan Quest 1, a lot of people loved it. I'm hoping that this kind of brings not only just attention to Titan Quest, but also maybe some people want to be like, "Oh, hey, let me check out those Spellforce games that people made." Um, and I hope both kind of like, rising tide, all that really gets these games noticed. Some of their older Spellforce games as well.
Yeah, that seems like sometimes we have these like neglected games that
Hmm.
kind of trundle along, or neglected series, I just say, that kind of trundle along with like limited popularity, but just enough popularity to keep going. Um, the diehards kind of want to shout from the rooftops, guys, it's been going on for like
Yeah,
15 years and
yeah, you've been
it's
missing out.
amazing. Why
Yeah,
you have so much to catch up on. Um, so yeah, hopefully people jump in with this if it appeals to them. Um, a couple more from me.
sure.
Uh, Abyss X Zero. So this is a very movement heavy 3D Metroidvania with kind of, I guess, PS1-ish type graphics, like these retro
Yeah, I
style
remember this one
polygon
now.
graphics.
Yeah.
Um, Looks really neat. Lots of like futuristic nonsense, lots of like platforming, lots of combat, lots of robots. This is exactly my shit. So happy for that. I'll just quickly rapid fire the other two
Sure.
I'm looking forward to. Mouse PI for Hire, which is this black and white um, first person shooter that's based off the earliest Mickey cartoons now being in the public domain. So if you want to play as an edgy version of Mickey Mouse who goes around
Everybody
killing
loves that,
gangsters,
right?
yeah, I mean, he's in the public domain now. Might as well fuck around with him.
Yeah.
So really looking forward to that. And finally, Virtue on a Sledgehammer. So this is by Deconstruct Team, who also made Many Nights a Whisper, the Red Strings, not the Red Strings Club. I'll look up the exact name of that game, and the Cosmic Wheel Sisterhood. Um, this one is so they specialize in these really evocative narrative games with amazing prose and really um, exciting electronic soundtracks. This one looks like it's adding some more action mechanics into the game, which is potentially pretty interesting. And I like the idea of running around with a sledgehammer and breaking things. So really excited. What else are you looking forward to?
Sure. I've got 2 and maybe, like, an honorable mention about something that, like, I think could go either way, but, I'm really looking forward to Witchfire.
Oh
I
yeah,
think it looks really cool. I know it's a
new
neat
game from
early
the
access
Aftermath.
again. Yeah, I think this looks really cool. there's a lot of atmosphere in this, and it seems like they're doing something with the animation or art style or something that I mean, I it looks dark and gothic and like kind of really is hitting that like itch. I think they want to go for like a Doom Hexen kind of vibe, but there's definitely a lot of feeling of Dark Souls in it. And apparently, like they're like citing a lot of painters for inspiration, kind of like of that period. I think it looks fucking cool. I don't know. I can't. This one I really want to kind of like dig in. It feels like it's going to be like at least for if you're looking for like kind of a dark hexeny doom type thing, I think it's going to be um, something that's interesting.
Yeah, there should just be more magic shooters, right? It
Yeah.
shouldn't be
Well,
Immortals of
hey,
Avium being
that
the only
game.
game carrying the crown.
God, I feel like I'm on. I'm insane telling people like, Yo, actually, that was a great game." Like the
I
people I've
own it.
gotten
I
to
just
play
haven't
it,
had time to
yeah,
play it. I'm playing
everybody
it
I've
this year. I
Everybody I've been
definitely will
able to
play it this year.
convince it has been like, "Oh my god, why don't more games have this combat?" I'm like, "Yeah, exactly." And it's like I'm hoping that Immortals ends up being one of those games that like walked so like 5 other types of game could run because this one definitely feels like that. So I'm interested to see kind of where they go with that dark fantasy world where Immortals of Avium I think was a little more grounded fantasy. But maybe that's the twist that this needs to kind of like push over the top. But seriously, Immortals is probably like a $3 game right now. I think you're doing yourself a disservice if you don't at least give it like the first couple hours and see how it plays because it is Magic Doom and everything people say they like about Doom. I like that more about how Immortals did it. So
Uh,
hopefully that clicks for some people.
it is
Um,
unfortunately currently not on sale. It's retailing for 80 Canadian.
Give it an
Um,
hour. I mean, like by the time you're hearing this, it's $3 again. It'll happen. If
yeah,
you ever go to like that, is there any deal site? Like if you
yeah,
look up Immortals, it's like it's like a roller coaster of like whether it's $50 or $3. So, trust me, you'll find it.
absolutely.
Let's
By the way, the Deconstruct team did make the Red Strings Club. The reason I got confused is because there's a similarly titled survival game called The Red Lantern that I was
Oh,
thinking
there you
of.
go. Yeah.
Yeah, what's the other game you're looking forward to?
Okay. I want to put this out into the world and hope that this doesn't get canceled. Please, Heroes of Might and Magic Olden Era, please exist and come out. I
You're begging
love
Ubisoft for something, and
Yes,
Ubisoft is not in the business of
they're in the business of
making games
canceling
anymore.
everything right now. I feel like as soon as I say I'm excited for this, it's gonna be like, "Oh, yeah, this one's on the chopping block too." I fucking love Heroes of Might and
Put
Magic.
Yves Guillemot on the chopping block before he put
Yeah,
Heroes of
there you
Might and
go.
Magic on the chopping block,
Like,
man.
I'm sure his salary would make, an entire, Heroes of Might and Magic series possible. I fucking love Heroes. I know that there's kind of like a I thought 5 was fantastic. I thought 6 was okay, but they tied all that Ubisoft slop that they were kind of doing at that time frame. 7 I thought was kind of like we're getting on the right track. And I think 8 can find I don't know if this one is technically 8. I have no idea what they're doing, like, 'cause it's a reboot. I don't know exactly what you're getting from olden era. But man, there's nothing else that does Heroes gameplay like that. I know there's been other games, I think like King's Bounty, a few other things I've tried to kind of like really um do this, but I'm interested in the new faction that's out there. I'm really hoping that Olden Era, kind of hits the mark. I think it's in early access now. I'm so tired of saying that, like, but yeah, I'm very excited for it.
Not in early access, but it
Okay.
does have a demo, and it is planned to come out in 2026. Huh? Ubisoft is not listed as the publisher.
Ooh, okay.
Hooded Horse is listed as the publisher.
Hey, let's go. Maybe they bought it or something.
Yeah.
Because Hooded Horse made Manor Lords, and I love that game. So maybe they're kind of finding their own little niche here.
Oh yeah, they are this niche strategy publisher.
Yeah, kind of like
Um,
an overworld strategy type games, right? For the most part. Yeah, I think
yeah.
most of their stuff's pretty well received. So if it's kind of what I'm hoping for, man, maybe this one actually hits.
Oh yeah,
Which would
people
be good.
loved Cataclysmo when it came
Yeah,
out
yeah,
last year. Um, Endless Legend 2. Yeah, these are all beloved games.
yeah.
So
All right, hey, let's go. Oh, Shadow Gambit. I think did you like that one or was it somebody else? I think somebody else liked that.
I think
That we had on the podcast. But yeah,
uh
there's a lot of good
might have
games
been
on here.
Skeletons. I'm not really a strategy guy. I should be more of a
Yeah.
strategy guy. I just don't have time for strategy games. So
Oh yeah, these
I'm
have been
looking
the
at screenshots of Shadow Gambit. This game looks fucking gorgeous.
it's really cool. It's really cool. Like, so
Oh
you're
my
kind of
god.
like a ghost pirate, and they're really like greens and pinks and stuff like that, and you have to it's one of those like commandos type game, you know what I mean, where like different people do different abilities, and that's how you get through the map. Really cool though. Um
Oh, so why am I not playing Shadow Gambit? This game looks so.
there you go. Because you're stuck doing all those like super like 800-hour long JRPGs.
Yeah, like fuck it. I don't want to play Metaphor anymore. Let's just go with Shadow Gambit.
Jump in Shadow Gambit, yeah.
Um, I'm adding it to my wish list right now.
There you go.
It's on my
But yeah,
Steam
so
wish list.
those are kind of the three. There's one, man, I don't even, this one's gonna suck, but I hope it's good. I've never liked a cyanide game, and they're Nacon, so we've got the double whammy. But I had a lot of fucking fun playing sticks back in the day. You
Oh,
play
so
as
the Blades of Greed.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's been announced that there's going to be a Styx sequel, I guess, to kind of like round out the trilogy. He's a shitty goblin that's a thief and an assassin, and kind of just like you're playing the other side of so many RPG stories. So Cyanide, I think, is maybe like the worst track record of a game studio for me. Whereas like I like the Styx games. Um, I think I liked
Blood Bowl?
maybe they're like no, but it was way too fucking complicated for what it was. I liked The Council, I think was the other game that they worked on. Which was kind of like a like very of its time. Like this game would feel incredibly dated now, but it's one of those like choose your own adventure episode games where like you're working with George Washington to solve a mystery. It's really weird, but I think Cyanide was like an offshoot, or like this was like an offshoot of them or something like that. But there was like a it was weird. If you really want to see like a weird game that somehow pulls it all together, check out The Council. But yeah, I think that if Sticks ends
Yeah,
up being
Big
good,
Bad Wolf was a branch of Cyanide.
there you go. Yeah. So if this ends up being good, I'll be shocked. But I really love the old Sticks games. But like Cyanide, like I said, they have maybe the worst track record for me, at least personally, as a studio as you could possibly have. And you got Nacon in the mix, so there you go.
Yeah, so that's just like begging for another Golem.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. There you go.
I mean,
So that's my
like
one with a careful
the
like
six games are like good Golem games,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
That's
exactly. Yeah.
so maybe they got something. I like I opened the Steam page for it, and it's sometimes at the top of the Steam page they're playing like a Twitch rebroadcast.
Yeah.
So this one, it was this shitty little goblin running around in a store while humans observed him, and he's like half their height and super ugly, while all these like beautiful humans are like staring
Yeah.
at him. It's
Yeah,
very funny.
he looks like shit, and like like the game kind of plays that up in a lot of funny ways, where it's like Sticks is an idiot and a jerk, and he does what he's got to do, but like he's got like an endearingness to him, kind of weirdly. But yeah, I think it's going to be kind of interesting at least.
All right, so last thing to talk about in games we're anticipating is games that are rumored that have not been
Mhm.
officially announced. And we've already talked about Persona 6, um, 3D Mario, that's always going to be anticipated. The two that I'm looking forward to, we know that Monolith Soft is working on a new game, but we don't know whether or not it's a Xenoblade game. And I'm hoping it's actually not a Xenoblade game. I think they kind of put a bow on that trilogy, and I don't think they need another Xenoblade game. So I want to see what they can do that's not Xenoblade. Like,
Mhm.
make another big, gorgeous, really expansive RPG that is extremely non Nintendo, but is still, like, made by Nintendo. Um, yeah, that's what I want to see. And the other one that I'm always going to beg for, despite the fact that there's no evidence that it's being made, Astral Chain 2, just make it. They put Lappy in the Bayonetta 3 teaser, which means you don't do that unless you're going to make Astral Chain 2, right? So I know I'm like putting on the clown makeup as I'm saying this, but I fucking want Astral Chain 2. Make it
Yeah.
happen. Um, any like
Oh yeah,
unannounced games that you want?
little rumor going on out there about the new Halo, where it is so supposedly the
So
same person.
not campaign evolved,
No,
like
no,
the
not campaign
actual
evolved.
Halo
So
sequel.
the person who said that campaign evolved was going to be a thing said that there's going to be a massive live service Halo multiplayer game, something like Fortnite, right? So he said this at the
Oh.
same time as campaign evolved. So um, campaign evolved obviously was confirmed, right? So everybody's like, oh, obviously we talked about live service earlier, right? I think it could work if you're playing not as a Master Chief, if you're some type of Spartan or ODST or something like that, and you're running around in like the world of Halo. I would be very excited. Now, of course, Phil Spencer was like, "Hey, Halo's coming back 2026," and I think a lot of people assumed this is just campaign evolved, but I think this could kind of be like a little, Oh, and also there's going to be a new, live service Halo coming out tomorrow for you to go play. So they just released Campaign of Ball is going to PS5 for sure. So I
Yeah.
think this would be kind of a big like, oh yeah, you like that? Here's more. That would kind of be a hopefully a rebirth for Halo at the same time.
Yeah, it could very well be that. There was would it be more like the PvP, or would it be more like the PvE, like multiplayer component? I think is the episodic one in Halo
Yeah.
4.
In my mind, what I'm actually thinking it would be more like ODST. So like you're wandering open world, like connecting to certain events, maybe with other people, and then you're dropping in to play campaign events, maybe, squatting up 3 or 4 people or something like that. That's obviously no one fucking knows, but that would be my kind of like guess about where they go with it. You're roaming around open world, then you jump in with a party to do the actual like campaign events, similar to like a strike in Destiny, something like that,
Okay,
But
that'd be
I would be
fun.
interested to see where it goes. Yeah, and there's no reason you couldn't do live action or live service with Halo. You wouldn't do live service Master Chief with Halo. So then the question becomes, are we really getting a Halo game if it doesn't have Master Chief, right?
I
Which
mean, they did
ODST is
Reach
one of my favorite.
MVP,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And
So
I love Reach, so
yeah,
I don't necessarily need Master Chief to be there.
me either.
I like the combat model of Halo. I don't really
Yeah,
care about Master Chief per se.
yep,
So I think I think I could dig that, provided it's not as like slapdash as the corresponding mode in Halo 4.
yeah,
Like I want it to be whatchamacallit? I want the encounters to be carefully designed. But one of the really nice things about Halo Infinite is, despite the fact that it's set in an open world, there is really careful and thoughtful encounter design in it, um, which we didn't see in the Halo 4. I think it was like Spartan
yeah,
Assault, whatever it was called.
yeah.
Um,
Very straightforward, kind of. Yeah.
yeah,
And
it's
they dipped their toes into this a long time ago, where like I want to say with Halo 4, there was that thing where like every week you would get a new Spartan Op. I think it was called Spartan Ops,
Spartan
right?
Ops. That's what it was
Yeah,
called. Yeah,
yeah. So
Spartan Ops.
that's what I was thinking too. They dipped their toes into this, and so that I think it's still kind of warmly looked at on the Halo community about what Spartan Ops did. So I think there's a place for kind of like taking that and running with it.
Yeah, that's exactly what I want them to touch up, right? So Spartan Ops felt very like slapdash in its construction.
Yeah,
If
yeah,
they can take that same basic delivery model and really work on like making the levels and the encounters um meaningful and not just like the same damn thing every time,
yeah, yeah. But I mean, like
that would
when
be helpful.
they're hiring Jennifer Hale, you know what I mean, to do Spartan Ops. They were definitely not like they were figuring something out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Um,
they got like the voice acting, but they didn't have like the plot was not interesting. The like the actual combat was not that interesting. If they can if they can beef that up to make it like not necessarily even campaign level quality, but just like something that I'm willing to come back to every few weeks, then I think they've got a winner. But
yeah.
it's really hard and really expensive to do that. So let's see.
Um, Now it is time for me to be fucking annoyed because I feel like I made some good predictions here, but I think I ended up in 3rd place. So
All right. Yeah, it's time to reveal our results from last year's delay prediction game. So for listeners, the way this works is we ask the participants in the episode to give a percentage chance that a game is going to come out in that year. So last year we asked a percentage chance that the game would come out in 2025. If it comes out, you get a number of points equal to that percentage. And if it didn't come out, you get a number of points equal to 100 minus percentage. For instance, last year, Kappa said there was a 72% chance of Ghost of Yote to come out in 2025, and it did come out, so we got 72 points. But he also gave an 80% chance for Directive 8020 to come out, and it didn't, so only got 20 points for
well,
it.
hey, look, 80-20, man. You
I
gotta
think
swing
that
with
was
it.
exactly the reasoning. So I'm just going to review our results from last year, and so just let me quickly share my screen with you so you can
Uh-huh.
see what this is all about.
I
Uh,
think I'll look at this, but I think there's probably like 3 or 4 big ones that I gave 0 that ended up coming out. So I took some wild swings here.
all right, so I am sharing my screen right now.
All right.
Um, so let's start at the top. I'm not going to read like every number off. I'll
Yep.
post the spreadsheet along with a link dump so everyone can see what the results were. Um, 2XKO was the first game. It did not come out. I think there was a demo or an early access thing that came out last year, but not the full release. And we were pretty certain it wasn't going to come out.
Yeah.
Um, Anno 117 Pax Romana. Kappa and I thought it would come out. Quinley Thorn and Bones thought it wouldn't. And it did come out. Big Walk, we all kind of thought it would come out, and it didn't. Obscure, Expedition 33, we all thought it would come out, and it did. Coffee Talk Tokyo, we were mixed on. Oh, Kappa thought it was mixed on it. The rest of us thought it would come out, and it didn't.
Yes. Big one.
Crimson Desert. Kappa and Quinley were really sanguine. Bones and I were not. It did not come out. Next, the Dark Pictures Anthology, Directive 8020.
Mm.
Kappa went with 80, Quinley went with 20. And Bones and I thought it would come out. It did not. Death Stranding 2, On the Beach. None of us
This is the one
thought
that fucked me. Yeah.
this one fucked everyone.
Yeah,
It did.
yeah.
We thought it would come out, and
It
it did.
probably shouldn't have come out because I don't think it came out in very good. Yeah, I don't think people were very. I don't hear anybody talking about this game anymore. So there you go.
It got a lot of rewards. It made a bunch of top 10 lists, and it still feels like it underperformed.
Yeah.
It's hard to explain. Next up, Dispatch. Kappa thought it would come out. The rest of us were skeptical, and it did come out.
Yay.
Joe KV. None of us thought it would come out, and it did not come out. 100 points for everyone. Earthblade. We thought it would come out, and it super didn't come out. It got canceled.
Yeah.
And I believe this. I believe the studio that made Celeste kind of like went back to their drawing board
Yeah.
or kind of disbanded. I don't know exactly what happened, but it
I mean, it
was
looked. I remember when we saw like screen. It looked like it was ready to go. That was kind of a shocking to me that like not only did it not come out, it was canceled because I mean it almost looked like they could release it at that when I saw it in 2023. I mean that was a while back too. So
yeah. It seemed like it was just pretty much ready to go, but
yeah,
like it's vertical slices can be deceptive, right?
yeah. Oh, so here's
No,
what happened. Dispute over intellectual property rights. That'll do it. You know.
oh yeah, that's really tragic because that team made something incredible with Celeste.
Yeah.
Elden Ring Night Rain. We all pretty much thought it would come out. Kappa was a little skeptical, but it did. Um, Fable. Kappa really unconfident, the rest of us on the fence, and it did not come out.
Yeah.
FBC Firebreak, we all thought it would come out, and it did. Five Laps at Freddy's. We were
Yeah.
all
This
like
one
super
fucked me.
confident this was going to come out, and it did not.
Yeah. Okay. Well, good. Everybody was there. Yeah.
Ghost of Yote, we all thought it would come out except Quinley Thorn, and it did come out. Golf with Your Friends 2, we all thought it was going to come out, and it did not. Grand Theft Auto 6, Kappa and Quinlan were like, yeah, it's got to come out this year.
I thought it was
Lily
gonna be, like,
Bones and I were
right
on the
at the
fence.
border, but holy shit, man.
You said
I'm gonna put this
100.
at its yeah, I know. I thought it was done, man. I don't know.
Yeah, and it didn't come out, unfortunately. Hell is Us, I was skeptical. Everyone else thought it was going to come out, and it did come out. All Night Silk Song, we were really split on this. Kappa and Quinley with 0.
Yeah.
Lily Bones on the fence with 50, and
I don't
me
like the 50s. I'm just gonna I
100.
don't I mean, because you're getting 50 points either way, you know what I mean? You gotta
Yeah,
I
it's coward shit. But
yeah.
you sometimes you just want to be a coward.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I mean, like technically, you should always answer 100 or 0, but we don't have to get into that. Um, because the second I start talking about incentive compatible scoring rules, I think I lose the audience. Hotel Barcelona, Kappa and Quinn are like, nuh-uh. And Bones and I were on the fence, and it did come out. It probably shouldn't have. Apparently, it
Yeah,
sucked.
horrible reviews, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Suda and Swery probably shouldn't team up. Uh, Toxic Commando, Kappa was like, oh, this is ready to go. The rest of us were skeptical. It did not come out.
Mm.
Little Nightmares 3. We had a range of opinions
Yeah, this
here,
is
ranging
everywhere.
from me 100% confident to Kappa at 14%, and it did come out. Mafia the Old Country. Again, a
This is a
range of
weird
opinion.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, you and Quinley were like, no. Bones and I were on the fence, and it did come out. Marvel 1943,
Now,
The Rise of
this
Hydra.
fucker this is what got me, man. This damn game.
Yeah. 100
This
for
game's never
Kappa,
gonna come out.
0 for Quinley Thorne. Bones and I were at 65. It did not come out. I think it's
How
coming out this year.
you think so? I don't think I'm not sure. This was an Amy Henning, right?
Yeah, Amy
Like,
Hennig's game.
this is a Naughty Dog, like, not Naughty Dog making, but, like, this is, like, when is this coming out?
We haven't seen any gameplay. We've only
No,
seen
none.
a really long cutscene.
No.
So maybe this game just has not found the fun.
Yeah.
Um, Metroid Prime range from 0 for Kappa,
Mhm.
50 for Quinley, and 100 for me and Bones. Bones and I were vindicated. It did come
Yeah.
out.
How is it, by the way?
Not great. I'm not a Metroid Prime guy. You can insult
I
Metroid
know,
Prime me.
I
I don't
know.
care. This isn't
I'm just
Donkey Kong. I have no attachment to it.
yeah. I
Um,
yeah.
I know it's.
I've
I know
I've seen
you like
mixed.
Metroid Prime.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I feel like I don't know. I've never been a Metroid Prime guy. I like to play first person shooters with a mouse and keyboard, which this
Yeah.
one kind of lets you do. You can play it with mouse mode, Joy-Con. But yeah, I don't know. It's not something that really grabbed me. And my Nintendo love is more for weird stuff like Xenoblade
Yeah, that it does
or
well.
Pikmin.
Yeah.
Yeah, than
I think it's
stuff
like a
like this.
7 out of 10, which, for Nintendo, that's usually everything there's 10 out of 10, so
Yeah, it didn't do what it needed to do, and a lot of people really hate it. So
yeah.
I don't know. Not my thing. Not never gonna play it. So not really worried. Mugenics. Again, a range of opinions on this. It did not come out.
Yeah.
Mio Memories in Orbit. Kappa correctly predicted no chance of it coming out. The rest of us were on the fence to positive. It did not come out. In fact, it came out a few days ago in 2026. Mixtape. We were
This
all
was a
in the
weird
middle
one.
on this,
Yeah.
and it did not come out.
This is another one that looked like it could release tomorrow and then didn't. You know what I mean?
I still
Yeah.
don't think we have a firm release date for it.
Yeah. This is
Um,
the this is remembering the '80s, but it's actually the '90s game, right? I'm not getting that wrong?
yeah, you're not getting
Okay.
that wrong. I mean, they're getting a lot of stuff wrong, but you're not getting it
Yeah,
wrong.
good.
Um, I don't know. I have zero confidence in this. Previews are glowing, but I don't know.
I mix. I don't know if I would.
I'm
I don't.
mixed on it.
Yeah.
Pun fully intended. Monaco 2, it did come out. Kappa and Quinn were like, yeah, it's coming out. Bones and I were on the fence. Ninja Gaiden Ragebound. I was really skeptical. Everyone else thought it would come out, and it did come out. The Outer Worlds 2. We all thought it would come out, and it did.
Hmm.
Penny Blood. We all thought it was dead, and we were right. Pokemon Legends Zang, Pokemon Pizza, if you will. All of us except Quinley Thorn thought it was going to come out, and Quinley Thorn got fucked with 36% chance it did come out. Sorry, Quinley Thorn. Professor Layton and the New World of Steam. We all thought it was going to come out, except for Bones, who was on the fence, and it did. Sorry, Quinley Thorn, who was on the fence, and it did not come out. Shadow Labyrinth. Um, I fucked myself over on this. Y'all thought it was going to come out. I put a 55, and it did come out.
uh,
Showa American Story. None of you had confidence except for me. All of you were correct. It did not come out. The Sinking City 2. Kappa was confident. The rest of us were on the fence. It did not come
hey,
out.
look, I'm proud to be wrong about that one because I think it's gonna be a good game still.
And Vampire the
Hey,
Masquerade Bloodlines 2. None of us thought it was coming.
and it ended up being like on my game of the year. What the fuck?
It did come out and apparently was, I mean, people were very mixed on it,
Yeah,
but
I think
Kappa
that's
loved
fair.
it.
I
And
enjoyed it.
yeah, came out. So totaling up the points in fourth place, Quinley Thorn with 1,919. In third place,
Mm.
Kappa with
This is the first year I
2,024.
didn't win. I feel like I usually do pretty good at this, but whatever. Marvel, you fucked me, but okay.
More than that, fucked you, given the point
Yeah,
differential.
yeah.
um, Bones and I therefore occupied the top spots. 5 points separated us. With 2,266 points, we have Lily Bones, and with 2,271 points, we have me. So I win by 5 points over Bones.
Nice. That
Um,
that that 5 points was probably your what you call it, Earthblade. Was Earthblade the one that you went super high on?
uh, Bones went lower on Earthblade than I did,
Okay,
and
well there you go.
Earthblade didn't come out, so Earthblade worked to her advantage. Um, so yeah, uh,
What's up with FBC Firebreak? Didn't I have like a negative percent on that one?
you had 80, and it did come out,
Oh,
so
well
you got
shit.
80 points for it.
Okay.
I got 90 points for it because I said there's a 90% chance it was coming out. All right, let's do 2026.
All
I've got 44 games on this list.
right.
Um, let's go down. First one, The Adventures of Elliot, The Millennium Tales, that HD 2D action RPG.
Never heard of it. They spell Elliot wrong because I like the one with was it Elliot with two T's at the end? Is that a version of it?
Yeah, you like the two
Yeah.
T's?
Yeah, I like the two T's. I think I like ELI no, ELIOTT. I don't know which one it is. I like two T's at the end. It's never coming out. 0%.
Okay.
Never heard of the game before though, so I'm going
Yeah.
0 and 100 today. We're all in.
Oh, you're pulling a
Yep.
blast out. Um, I'm gonna put 75.
Okay. This is Square, right?
I think it's Square. I don't know. There are a lot of these RPG factories now.
Yeah.
At Fate's End.
Ooh. Let's see. I'm just maybe checking out, maybe see if there's any news about it. I haven't heard anything about this game in forever. Uh, that's what we're talking about, right? The
Yeah,
flashy
the
looking one.
one with the really nice art style.
Let's go 80 on this.
80? All right. I'm going with 85. I have more
Okay.
confidence. Beast of Reincarnation, which was recently
Mm,
showed off at the Xbox Developer Direct.
yeah. This one I feel like they could delay. This is Pokemon, right?
Yeah, it's Game Freak.
Delayed. I'm gonna go like 38. I'm already
38.
violating my 100 or nothing, but yeah, 38. I'm going 38.
It's more fun. I
Yeah,
mean,
it is.
technically, you should pick 100 or 0.
Yeah,
If I use quadratic scoring rule, you should give your true percentage, but that's not
yeah.
what we're doing.
Because this was the game. Like I remember everybody showing it, and people were like, "Holy shit! Why doesn't Game Freak do this in Pokemon?" And then I think they're gonna want to like kind of like even like jazz it up further. I think this thing's gonna look like amazing when it comes out, but maybe needs a little bit more to cook.
I'm going with 63. Why not?
Okay.
Big Walk, the new game from House, the makers of Untitled Goose
Yeah,
Game.
this is a weird one. I remember the reveal being kind of like goofy. Like they're like, "Please watch our game." I don't remember exactly what it was about, but these indie games like this usually come out do like 94.
94. I'm going with 95 since it was delayed from last year.
There you go.
The Blood of Dawnwalker.
I cannot remember this one.
You were really
Let's see.
hyped for this. This is the
I
vampire
was.
one from Rebel Wolves, a spin-off of I shouldn't say a spin-off, it's a bunch of former CD Projekt Red people.
When was the last time they talked about it though? It's been a while, right?
I have no idea.
Oh, was it the Xbox showcase? It's scheduled to. Oh no, it wasn't. It was announced in January 2025. Uh, I haven't heard shit about it yet. Um, go 49.
49. I'm going 15. I think this
Ah,
is getting delayed.
all right.
Control Resonant.
Oh, this was pretty high. Let's go like 75.
I think this is getting delayed. I'm going 35.
Okay.
Deca Police. So this is the turn-based police RPG from is it level 5, I want to say. That was supposed to come out several years ago and has been delayed and delayed and delayed.
All right. I'm going cancel, like negative. What how much can I go negative?
You can go to 0.
It doesn't come out, it's going 0. Not only is it not coming out, it's not a good time for a police game to come out.
Yeah.
0%.
All right. Kappa says canceled is what I'm putting in there. Um, I'm putting 22. I think it's
Okay.
getting delayed again. Um, Directive 8020.
What did I go last time? 80?
Yeah.
Fuck it, 20.
I'm going 100. It's delayed
Uh,
from last year. It's coming out. Um, so I should mention almost all of these games are games without firm release dates that are slated for 2026. There are a couple of exceptions that have firm release dates, and a couple of exceptions that are not officially slated for 2026 but could come out. And one of those exceptions is Dokevi. Kappa, what do you think the probability
I'm
of
gonna say
Dokevi?
0%.
I'm also going to say 0%. I think that game is fucking canceled.
I think I heard like I was reading about it the other day. It's like supposedly like this labor of love about like wanting to get kids, into like positive. It's never coming out, man. But I wanted to be on this list every year until it's
It
officially
is every
canceled.
year until they officially cancel it.
Yeah, exactly.
The Duskbloods, the new game from not from Swaft, FromSoft that's exclusive to Switch 2.
Oh man. I don't think they can get this one working. That's my feeling. I don't think it's gonna look good. I'm gonna go like 23.
I'm going to go with 44.
Mm,
I'm being a little bit of a coward. Um, Fable.
Oof. This is a tough one. I liked what I saw. It looks pretty good. It seems like they've got the right idea. Go 75.
I don't think it gets delayed again. I'm going 89.
Okay.
Forza Horizon 6.
This one I do think is delayed.
Oh,
Um,
really?
yeah, because they're doing something really weird where there's going to be like persistent progression with it or something. They just announced it at part of the. Seems a little bit weird, and it's coming out for PlayStation as well. I'm gonna go with 28.
28. Interesting. Um, Shouldn't have given me your reasoning because I was going to go 100 on it, but now I'm not. I'm going 77.
I just think something about like wanting persistent progression plus PlayStation, I think just makes it a little more complicated.
Yeah, that does make sense. Golf with your friends 2.
100%.
100? I'm going 99.
Oh, all right. You get that
Grand
1
Theft
point.
Auto. So Grand Theft Auto 6 does have a firm release date of November 19th. Do you think
Yeah,
it's
well,
gonna?
guess what? 0%. It's not coming out this year.
Um, I'm going 65.
All right.
I think it's gonna make the release date. I think they've delayed it enough. I think they've got a product that they are satisfied with. And I think the rumors that it wasn't content complete are misleading, and that it's probably nearly content complete, and they're also probably doing a lot of polishing and bug fixing right now.
See, I just think it's so easy to just bump it a month, you know what I mean? And get it out of that November window unless you're very, 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 very confident in what it's gonna launch at.
A Grand Theft Auto in January could hit big.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I mean. Like, why not wait a little bit if you're like, "Hey, it's 80% there. We know it's gonna sell like crazy, but we want this to be like, you know, all eyes on us for sales and stuff." I think you wait. Wait a month.
Yeah, especially if it's late January when people are starting to buy stuff again after the
Yep.
Christmas rush. I can see that really working out, and that way you don't get caught in the February rush either.
Yeah.
Um, Halo campaign evolved.
Oh, 100%.
100?
Yep.
I'm going with 80.
Alright.
I'm not fully confident, but I think it'll make it. All
Okay.
right, another game with a firm release
Yeah.
date. Kappa, do you think High Guard is coming out tomorrow?
Ah, shit. I think it's coming out, but I think this is gonna be one of those, like, they unrelease it. Like, they release it, then they go, like, "Actually, we're gonna, like, there's gonna be, like, a High Guard,
High Guard Reborn.
edition." Yeah, High Guard alive again. I think it comes out, so I'm gonna go with 100, but I think it's so shitty that they have to, like, relaunch it. I think it never finds its footing after that and just remains another also ran looter shooter that nobody can figure out why it got that spot at the Game Awards still.
I'm also going 100. I think it does come out tomorrow. I just think it'll suck ass.
Yeah, yeah. So we're both on the same page there.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll get unreleased. I think it'll be so unsuccessful. I don't think it's going to be a Concord level disaster, to be clear,
Yeah.
but I think it's going to be so unsuccessful that it dies a quiet death in
It's
about
weird when your entire
6
marketing
months.
campaign is like the lead spot at the Game Awards, and then that's all you say about your game. I don't know. This is gonna be one of those things where like people really, really look into like what the fuck happened here. I think.
Um, it was to the point where like they've done so little marketing for this that just a few days before it was set to release, just like last or this week, someone made a Blue Sky account for it, like play highguard.bluesky.social.
They got around to it.
Yeah, but here's the thing. It seemed like it was doing real promotion for the game. Um, but like real kind of tone deaf promotion, like what's gonna be your favorite hero, that kind of thing. It turns out that this was like a satirical thing, like it was a fake Blue Sky account, but that looked indistinguishable from the real thing, and so obviously it got deleted for impersonation.
Yeah,
But the fact that this was a plausible thing, so, like think
yeah,
of all the things that went crazy wrong here. They didn't make a Blue Sky account for it,
yeah.
then
They just let it run without.
let's let it
Yeah,
run. Then no one until the week before release thought to make a parody account for it.
they're
That's how little it's in the
like, "Oh
zeitgeist.
yeah, it's coming out. Let's do this real quick."
It's coming out. Time to make a parody account. So the fact that it was there for the taking, which is even funnier, and the fact that it stayed up for so long, like I think a couple of days before they got around to deleting it. Oh man, I had a great laugh from all of that nonsense. Human Fall Flat 2, is that coming out this
Ooh,
year?
yeah. Uh, 84.
84? I'm not super confident in this. I'm going 72. Marvel 1943, Rise of
Oh,
Hydra. Do
this
you think it's getting
motherfucker.
delayed?
Yeah. Uh, when it was delayed last time, did how far out it was originally supposed to launch like end of 2025, right?
I think so. They didn't ever have a firm date for it.
This is gonna fuck me again this year. I'm gonna go 50. Fuck it.
50?
Yeah.
I'm going 33.
Okay. It
Marvel
probably
Tokon.
probably
Sorry, go
doesn't come
ahead.
out though. It probably doesn't come out, but like maybe they just do like the push it out the door type thing because I don't know that Marvel has a huge presence in video games anyway at this point. So they might just say, "Fuck it. Why do we dump all this money just to get it out?"
Yeah, it hasn't like This would be crazy if Amy Hennig had another project canceled.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, because she had that was it Star Wars Ragtag or whatever it was called that got canceled.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah. It was like you play like a dirt farmer in Star Wars or something, I remember that.
I mean, it was like an action game. I think
Yeah,
it's
but, like,
but
you're like a bounty hunter or something, I don't know, I don't think it ever saw the light of day.
yeah. Um, look, at least she hasn't had as many canceled games as Jade Raymond.
Oh, man.
Uh,
Yeah.
when was the last time Jade Raymond like put out a video game? Who knows?
It has to be like an AC.
Yeah, it's been forever. Marvel took on Fighting Souls, the new like cell shaded um fighting game featuring Marvel characters.
Are there anybody else other than Marvel characters in this?
I don't know. I don't know fighting
Like, is that like a
games.
Marvel versus? Okay, yeah, let's go 74.
74. I'm going 50. I know nothing about this game. See, I originally geared this list because it's supposed to be me, Quinley, and you on this
Oh,
episode, and then
okay.
Quinley had to pull out. So I kind of geared this list towards all three of us. So there are a few on here. I'm like, I don't know jack shit. Quinley's gonna have a bunch to say, um, and this is one of those. Um, Marvel's Wolverine. Do you think that is
Ooh,
actually coming out this year?
this 100. What else does
100?
PlayStation have this year?
Saros.
Yeah, that's
That's
not
the
a
only thing
lot.
I think with a firm release date.
Yeah,
Um, and I think Saros will come out and be well received, but they've got to have something else.
yeah, that's this game.
Sony's production pipeline has slowed down to a trickle.
It
It's
really
really
has.
unfortunate.
It's harder and harder to kind of like, because they'll say we have 20 games coming out in 2026, and you look like there's like a ton of remasters and like, you know what I mean? Like when you're big, hey, we got a game coming out in 2026 and it's marathon. Like you gotta go back to the drawing board on some of this stuff. I don't think they've got a lot.
Uh,
Pragmata
oh yeah,
and is that
Pragmata's not a PlayStation exclusive, I don't think.
yeah? Is it still 2026 though?
Uh, Pragmata's
That
set to come
kid's
out.
fucking creepy, man. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah, Pragmata's also set to come to Switch 2 and Xbox Series consoles.
Mm,
So
yeah,
it's coming out. I
you
mean
got
that
to get this
kid
one
is a
coming out.
robot, by the way.
Yeah.
Um, Anyway, for Marvel's Wolverine, I'm putting uh 82. I'm not fully confident.
Okay.
Mina the Hollower was set to come out on October 31st last year and got delayed into 2026. Do you think it comes out this year?
This is too cute for me.
It's
It's
a
a
new game from
Kickstarter
Yacht
game.
Club. It's a new game from Yacht Club, same folks who made Shovel Knight.
All right, let's go 94.
94. I'm going 100. I think it was pretty much ready to go and they're just pausing it. I think it comes out this year. Mixtape.
Oh God, this comes out right. This comes
Yeah.
out. No one cares about it. 100%.
100. I'm going 100 as well. I don't think I'll like it, but it'll come
Yeah.
out.
Seems like it kind of lost its thunder. So probably leaks
Yeah.
out. Nobody cares.
Speaking of music games, No Straight Roads 2. Do you think that's coming out?
Uh, no. I'm gonna go 44. Leaning towards no.
I'm being a coward. I'm going with 50. Planet of Lana 2, Children of the Leaf.
Yes, this comes out 78.
78. Uh, I'm going 85.
All right.
Professor Layton and the New World of Steam.
I
The
was shocked
repeatedly,
this. Yeah, I was shocked this didn't come out last year. So
yeah,
I gotta
repeatedly
go.
delayed.
Yeah, I gotta go 100 on this one. I think this one's come out.
I think this one's facing development issues, so I'm going 75.
Ooh, all right.
Ratatan, the spiritual successor to Patapon.
This one was another one that I thought was coming out last year, right? I'm pretty sure.
I guess.
Yeah. Rhythm roguelike action. That sounds boring as shit. 44.
44. I'm going with 37. By the way, if you're wondering why Pragmata isn't on this list, it's because it has a firm release date of April 24th.
Oh,
Uh,
well,
it might slip from that
that's
release date.
surprising to me. Yeah, I was gonna say that. That's doesn't sound. I would put some numbers on that one.
Yeah, it wasn't like distant enough or controversial enough like the release date for Grand Theft Auto 6, or
Yeah.
funny enough like the release date for High Guard to include. Um, but yeah, Resonance: A Plague Tale Legacy.
I haven't heard anything about this since it was announced.
Neither have I. I don't think it makes.
Most of them usually come out on time, I feel like though, right? Most
Oh,
of the
really?
Plague Tale ones? I think
Yeah.
so, right?
Yes, I wouldn't know.
Let's go 81.
81. I think this isn't coming out this year. I'm going 15.
Ooh, all right. Finally a big
R-
split.
Yeah, Rhythm Heaven Groove.
Uh, what the hell was this?
This is the new Rhythm Heaven game. Again, things that I put on here because of Quinley, not games that I really know anything about.
uh, oh, the sequel to the Rhythm Heaven Mega Mix. Yeah, of course this thing. 91. I
91.
I believe in you, Sunko. I think you got this in you, man. You can do this. Come on, guys. Let's go.
I'm also going with 91 because I have no fucking clue.
Kappa believes in you. Do it. Do it.
Yeah, gone
Maybe they
back
play
day.
this in the audience and they're like, "Yeah."
Showa American Story.
No way.
Uh,
This doesn't come out right.
you have no faith in Netcom, the Japan and America files who have never been to Japan or America.
It looks so ambitious though for like what I'm used to seeing from them. Like,
It was set to come out last year.
yeah, I'm just looking at the screenshots and it looks jank. Like there's like numbers coming off stuff.
It looks
It
like
looks like they're going for a Fallout, but then not. Man, I don't know. This is gonna come out. Let's do 79.
79. I'm gonna go 85 because it was delayed from last year.
Yeah.
Um, so I think it comes out. The Sinking City 2.
Oh, I'm going 100 because I want to play it. I think most of their problems with their delays in the past have been Necon, so maybe they got it
Uh,
together.
yeah,
Self-publishing too, so that's a good sign.
here you go. Nacon, not to be confused with Netcom, the
Oh
developer.
yeah, my
It's called
bad.
American Story. 75
All
for
right.
Sinking City 2 for me. Slave Aspire 2.
Oh, this is 100%.
I agree.
Yeah,
100.
yeah, this one's coming out.
Squadron 42, which we
Oh,
discussed at
this
length earlier.
motherfucker. So the question here is, at what point does the Star Citizen need to get something out the door that says we put out a game, right? Is this the year, right? I think this is going to be one of these ones where it comes out, but it's like not anything. It's not the full game, but it releases, and then they say like we're going to do episodes or some shit like that,
That is so fucking Cloud Imperium.
right?
That is what they
Like
would do.
we're not going to release the whole thing. We're going to milk it a little bit more, but we're going to do just enough to say we got a game out the door. So I'm going to go like 85. Because I got to think there is some type of fucking pressure, right? Like when you've got $1 billion. I mean, maybe you don't give a shit. I don't know, but I think this would be the easiest thing in the world to say, like, release like 8 hours of gameplay when there's supposedly 40, and be like, yeah, we'll do episode 2 5 years from now, just to say we got the game out.
Well, they'll say they'll do episode 2 in 6 months, and then
Yeah,
it'll come out in 5
it'll come out in
years.
5 years. Yeah, exactly.
Um, all right, 66 from me.
All right.
Star Wars Galactic Racer.
Ooh, baby. This is 100 for me.
I want to play it, but I don't have that much confidence. I'm going with 78.
All right.
Star Wars Zero Company.
This one I think is on the other end of it. I'm gonna go with like 23.
23.
Yeah.
I have a lot of confidence in this coming out this year. I'm going 89.
Ooh, all right.
There are no ghosts at the Grand.
Oh, 100.
100. There's a demo out. I'm also going 100. Thick as Thieves, the new game from Warren Spector, the
Oh
multiplayer
man.
immersive sim.
Man, this is a tough one. This is another one where like I don't have any confidence that the game is gonna be good, but I do think it comes out. Um go like 84.
I'm going 41.
All right.
Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis. This is
I
the
like
remake of the first Tomb Raider
remake.
game.
Yeah, I think it's 100. I am going big on this one.
I don't have that much confidence. I'm going 86. Tomodachi Life Living the Dream.
Man. Yeah, it's my one of my favorite series. I'm very big into the Tomodachi series. I know a lot of inside info, and I think this one's canceled. I think 0%.
0.
I know nothing about this game.
You just fucked yourself over.
Yeah, I
I'm
don't
going
care.
95. It's coming up this year.
Oh, son of a bitch.
Um, yeah, that's Nintendo's like life sim RPG that isn't Animal Crossing. I don't
Um,
exactly know what it is. Um, I
Wait till you hear about the scandal that's just rocked the studio, though, that I just made.
it was like okay. So the stupid thing that I used to do when I was younger is I would just like whenever I like every so often when I post something, I would compare it to the quote unquotes Ryan Seacrest chicken fucking scandal. Um and like of course there's no Ryan Seacrest chicken fucking scandal. Ryan Seacrest has never made love to a bird. Um but I would just do it all over the place. And then Ryan Seacrest had an actual sexual misconduct scandal, and then it stopped being funny.
Yeah, like
And
came around the other way.
yeah, I just stopped being like, okay,
Yeah.
I can't reference the Ryan Seacrest chicken funk scandal anymore. Um, so watch what you post on the internet, children. Um, Tropico 7.
Oh, this one comes out. I feel like these guys just make games. Like whoever's doing Tropico, every time I turn around,
Calypso?
there's a new
Yeah.
expansion or something coming out. I go like 99.
All right, I'm going 98. Warhammer 40K Bolt Gun 2.
Ooh, 100.
100?
Yeah.
I'm also going to go 100.
Damn it.
Warhammer 40K Dawn of War 4.
100.
I'm also going 100.
God damn it. I'm not gonna make up this Tomodachi now. All right. Come on,
Warhammer
Yoshi lives here.
40K Mechanicus 2.
This is 100 too.
I legitimately think all these games are coming out, so I'm also
Yeah.
going 100.
Yeah, I mean, the
Um,
Warhammer games they feel like they're like I don't know how it works with Warhammer rights because they make a shitload of games, right? But I feel like these guys want to get these games out before something weird happens with the rights because they are constantly making these games now.
all right, Windblown.
Uh, is this the game I think it is?
I don't remember what this is.
I don't remember this one
I put
either.
this on the list for a reason. I believe it's the new game from the people who
Roguelike from
made
the Dead Cells,
Dead
1 to 3
Cells.
players.
Dead Cells. It's Motion Twin. It's a new game from Motion Twin. Folks who made Dead Cells. I knew it was something.
I
Early
so
access right now.
Yeah, early access doesn't mean much to me. Let me see what the reviews in early access have been. Very positive. Mm, okay, I'm gonna go low because I think they want to get this game ready for Steam Deck. I don't see much about Steam Deck. This looks like a Steam Deck game to me. So I'm gonna go like,
It is deck verified.
oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh shit. Well, what are these people? Okay, let me see the reviews. I do hope they tighten up some of the performance on Steam Deck. All right, all
Okay,
right.
so there, although it is deck verified, it might not perform well on deck.
Yeah, I
So,
cannot play this game without feeling physically sick, having vertigo. Jesus Christ.
having
Uh,
murdered what?
Developer will not respond to any inquiries regarding their intent to fix the annoying issues where you cannot sync quest. Ooh, okay. These things always end up being a hassle. Like me and you play together, and like we make progress, but like my progress doesn't count to you. Those things always end up being like hard to
Oh,
fix. I'm gonna
yeah.
go. Just on that alone, I'm gonna go 41.
41. Okay. I am going to go 59.
All right.
And finally, Yoshi and the Mysterious Book.
Okay. This is one where I have to look at like what else does Nintendo have coming out on Switch 2 this year. and I don't know because I don't follow Nintendo at all. Um,
Yeah, I don't really care about the Yoshi games.
yeah,
Like, when it comes to Nintendo, I'm mostly asleep until they're like new Pikmin or new Donkey
yeah,
Kong.
exactly.
Um, so
I don't
yeah, the
think
Yoshi
Nintendo has a
games
lot this year. I'm gonna go 81.
81. I'm going
Yeah.
100. I think it comes out. I mean, they've got to have something up their sleeve other than
Yeah,
Tomodachi Life, Yoshi, and
apparently that's what's
Mario
good.
Tennis.
Tomodachi, everybody loves that thing.
Everyone's talking about Tomodachi Life. But yeah, they've got to have something more up their sleeves than
See,
just
that's how I
Yoshi.
look at a lot of these, right? I look at it as being like sometimes I think there's some people who are like, "You gotta get this shit out."
Yeah, like sometimes there's someone like from up on high who's telling them
Yeah, yeah.
like,
Like, "Hey, you guys have been sitting on this game for 6 years. Get it out the door, whatever it is."
yeah, it's not clear that that's how Nintendo works. But then again, they shoved Metroid Prime 4 out the door before
Yeah.
it was really ready
Oh,
because
yeah.
it spent so much time developing it. Um, and yeah, like at a certain point, you just kind of gotta cut bait. All right. That's been this episode of the Avocado Gamescast. If you would like to keep up to date with the podcast, we have a website, avocadogamescast.wordpress.com. On that website, every episode gets posted, and with each episode, there's a link dump that includes links to stuff we talked about, some fact checks for things we said we'd look up. You can also subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts,
Apple
YouTube
Cop
Music,
Fest.
Apple Pop Up, Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music, or Spotify. All you've got to do is search for Avocado Games Cast. We'll be right there. And finally, make sure you check out the avocado at the-avocado.org. All right. Thank you to our listeners. And um, as we say, stay out there. When you're out there in this cold weather, stay safe. Um, wear some boots. And, if you're on a slippery surface, remember, fuck ice. Good night, everyone.
Night.